When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman here with you for one more day. One more day, Dave. Then everything returns to normal. We'll have baseball again. We'll all be out at Edgar's. There are rumors of ice cream nachos to be delivered, so
What?
I'm excited about that.
I haven't heard this.
Yeah, that's the rumor. It's happening. Ice cream nachos. Get excited for that one, Matt. Get excited, all four of us who will be out there for the Mariners' special Spotlight Bite. Ice cream nachos tomorrow.
30 seconds into the show, and he's already going on about maybe getting ice cream tomorrow.
Hey, it's good promotion.
Food.
So that's how you promote something. So we'll be all out there at Edgar's for the start to the second half of the season, Mariners and Astros. But before then, a lot to get to today, Dave. We'll have Aaron Goldsmith joining us at 3 o'clock. Brady Henderson to chime in with some contract-related things and a little Seahawks training camp preview at 4 o'clock. And then we will do a few things to kind of assess this Mariners season, including bringing back what now seems like an old favorite, our game, Bullish or Bearish.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a great point to look at. You know, there's been a lot of guys that have been, like I said yesterday about JP, that's been sneaky good. You know, you look at the sort of tear that he's on right now, and yeah, and every time I look at like the current hit streak, Robles, his name shows up there because he hasn't played, obviously, in a long time, but I think his was stopped at like 8 or something. But JP, I think, is second as far as his hit streak goes, and he's just one of those guys that, like, 14 games in a row he's had a hit. And so, yeah, he just kind of crept up on everybody. So, yeah, we'll take a look at these guys, if you're bullish or bearish, and then, achieved or underachieved. Really quick, I had totally forgotten, for whatever reason, that Tampa Bay came into the NFL at the same time as Seattle. So, and that's a home game for the Seahawks, and they're going to be wearing their throwback stuff. They just announced that. But also, that's going to be when the top 50 all come back. The top 50 Seahawks. So that'll be a cool game.
Yeah. So the Bucs are going to wear their white road throwbacks because that creamsicle era. They've worn the creamsicle home jerseys. Now they're going to wear the white throwback ones. Yeah. Throwing back to that era. Yeah. Seahawks, Bucs, 1976. Both are celebrating 50 years. So October 5th. That's going to be a huge game. Should be a good one. A uniform, pleasing look out there on the field. Yeah. Now we know, and you wanted me to bring this up again, so I will, that some people just hate uniform talk.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to baseball, and that's one John Heyman. But this is why, it's important. It's a big deal. People love it in the NFL and for MLB and all of that. So would you like to make me the bad guy here? We can throw out that question like you wanted to yesterday.
Yeah, who's the jerk?
Yeah, who's the jerk?
What it was? Yeah. Well, you went after a person. And he went after
an entire fan base, I think. So okay. I'm defending the people.
I don't know. It just didn't seem like as specific as yours, but that's okay. You can continue to argue that one, Mike. But, yeah, the people do care about that. I think, like, the creamsicle jerseys for Tampa Bay, I mean, people, I think in the very beginning were like, this is ridiculous. This looks terrible. And now everybody loves it. So, I mean, and it's a great deal for Major League Baseball and the NFL. They're just selling the crap out of jerseys, right? So, yeah, all the different ones you can get in there. But that'll be cool to see those two match up. But, yeah, as far as overachieved, underachieved, Mike, is the way you put it. Interesting, starting with the infielders. And the first guy that I thought of was Ben Williamson, because he's been fantastic at third, right? I mean, he has really been good. But, I mean, you look at, as far as did he overachieve or underachieve as far as a hitter on the offensive side? Because I don't know. I mean, what was the expectation for him? It wasn't that he was going to have like a 900 OPS, right? It was that he is going to, get hits. He's hitting for average right now, 260, one home run for him only, 18 RBIs. But, so I would say I didn't expect him to do much better than that. But I'll say that I think he overachieved defensively. He really has been as advertised, basically, and a little bit better.
Yeah, so let's dive into a little bit more of what we're doing now, because you mentioned it, the Bullish and Bearish. We're going to do that at 5 o'clock, and that's more player-specific. right now, instead of looking at just, hey, letter grade, you can assess the first half of the season, judge how players did, judge how the team did. We've done that before. We've graded them on an A through F scale. This is, as Dave mentioned, we're going to go through position groups, and we'll start with infielders, outfielders, and coaching, and then get into the pitching, starting pitching, relief pitching, and just kind of weighing in, all right, did they overachieve or underachieve based on the expectations when the season began? So you can weigh in as well, 866-979-3776. So we'll start with the infielders. You mentioned Ben Williamson. Overachieved or underachieved? So Ben Williamson, just one part of the total component. How would you assess this entire infield, defensively, offensively, to combine to this one grade of overachieve or underachieve?
Yeah, I'm just looking at that side of the field with JP and him, and then it's just been like a flurry of different players, right? Mostly Young has been playing at second base, and then we've had everybody from Donnie Barrels to Rayleigh to
Rowdy Tellez,
Rowdy,
a big chunk of the season there.
Yeah, I almost forgot about Rowdy there. Yeah. But yeah, I think just as infielders as a whole, I'm looking at, as far as errors go, the Mariners are sixth best. They've only had, let's see, where's my number here? Yeah, they've only had 39 errors, and so there's only 5 teams that have had less than them. So I think they've overachieved as far as the infield goes and the defense that they've played. And then certain guys have overachieved, and I think JP is probably one. I'd throw, I guess, Ben Williamson in there too. But if you look at second and first, it's kind of hard to get a grasp on it just because there's been so many different guys at different times. But just in general, you look at the errors, pretty good. I think Perry Hill his coaching is coming through, and it's not been a problem. We were watching that Rockies game, and of course they're like dead last with 80. Mm-hmm. But they were just booting it all over the place, and you see it every once in a while from the infield, and every once in a while there's a error or two, but they've done a really good job, I think. So yeah, I would just say in general, overachieved.
And I'm going to help this discussion go one way because it's kind of cheating, but when you lump Cal Raleigh in, because he's an infielder, and we're not doing separate catching position because it's just him. Mitch Garver has caught a couple of games, but yes, Cal Raleigh gets lumped in with the infield. So yeah, the infield has overachieved because of what Cal Raleigh has done. And then as you kind of dig in a little bit more like you were doing, there are certain positions where they have certainly underachieved. First base, you're not getting the power production or the stability that you'd want out of that corner infield spot. Third base, offensively, I think you could say the same thing, where Ben Williamson has been, he's been fine. He's been really good defensively, but it's not what you want offensively out of your third base, corner infield power spot. So those individual ones maybe have been a little shaky, but yes, the totality of the infield, solely Cal Raleigh, and then J.P. Crawford helps put that over the top. He's had separate 16-game and now a current 14-game hit streak. He's got a top 5 on-base percentage. He's looking like the J.P. Crawford, maybe not as much power-wise as 2023, but certainly like that fluid, stable offensive producer rather than last year where injuries kind of derailed a large part of his season. So, yeah, I'm going to agree with you there on overachieve. Now, this one gets a little more interesting for me, and it gets a little bit more difficult to decide. Outfield. When you look at the 3 outfield spots, put them all together, so left, center, and right, and there has been some turnover, especially in right field because of all those injuries. How would you assess this outfield? Overachieve or underachieve?
Yeah, well, and that's also missing Robles. And I know he didn't play in a ton of games, but he was fantastic out there. And even the play where he got hurt, it was phenomenal. So, and yeah, we've seen Julio make a couple of mistakes, but again, I still contend that that's something that you notice just because he's so good all the time. Early on, I thought Randy Arozarena, some of his throws were so offline coming from left field, and lately that's been cleaned up. So, and I think the throws in have been really good. Julio Rodriguez gave Cal every opportunity to make that tag out against the Yankees in the extra inning game. So I think that part has been really good. Have they overachieved? I would say they're approaching that, but not right now. Look, Julio's got the hit streak, the home run streak. What do you have, 6 RBIs in that series against Detroit? So you're kind of a prisoner of the moment, as Bob likes to say, and you're starting to think, okay, yeah, man, now all of a sudden he's a complete player and he's putting it together. Got to see that happen in the second half and, make sure he's staying on that same trajectory. I'm not talking about 2 RBIs every game and a home run every game, but it seems like he's starting to go that way. And like I said, the throw from center field, they've been really good. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're approaching that right now. But I would say, and Rosarena's on a hit streak too. But right now, it's kind of a, mix and match in right field. So I would say just in general what everybody expected, probably not. They probably underachieved.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to is that going into the season, the expectations for the outfield were so high. Yeah. Because Robles had been signed to an extension, now you had the stability of, well, look at what Robles for a full year and Julio and a Rosarena. Those 3, we thought that would be the strength of this team offensively because there was some uncertainty with the infield. So unfair a little bit that someone like Dom Canzone, who has done an admirable job since coming in, well, he only has been here for a little over a month. So you have that production, but it was very deficient in right field once Robles got hurt. And then, unfortunately, when Rayleigh got hurt as well, they were just dealing with so many injuries out there, and it seemed really centered around that right field spot. So you had to go down. He didn't get a lot of production out of Taveras, who had to start a ton of games out there and right. Julio, his power numbers pretty lacking until this recent stretch, like you mentioned. So, yeah, if you look at the last 3 games, well, the outfield certainly overachieved because Rosarena over these past couple of weeks has been on a power surge. Julio has this 3-game stretch that leads you to some optimism going into the second half. And that's why I kind of wanted to dive into it individually. So we'll do our bullish and bearish because you can kind of take a look at the individual a little bit more than the position group as a whole. But for the outfield as a whole, for the expectation going into the season, I think they've underachieved. But the infield has done a great job picking that up. So we both agreed overachieve on the infield. Outfield has underachieved. Now, it's kind of a tricky one, Dave. The coaching staff this year. It's a first-year manager in Dan Wilson and the coaching staff around him. How have they done to this point?
Yeah, I'm torn on that one because, first of all, pitching, it's injuries, right? That's been the story. So I don't know that you can necessarily, I mean, it's almost like it's an incomplete because those guys, and like Logan Gilbert, I still go back to that rain out, man. I would have loved to have seen what would have happened there. And we'll get to see, the next time, his next outing, that maybe he has like turned a huge corner. But if you look at what the pitching has done right now, they're kind of middle of the road. Last year at this time, they were top 5 in almost everything. So, and I like that the texters are chiming in because what is this? It's a 425 said Ben Williamson is a weak stick. A third baseman in this game needs power. He's not showing it. Didn't we know? I mean, we never thought he was going to be a power hitter. And that's another theme that kind of enters in there, the corner spots. You want power there, but we just don't have that. And they started off with Polanco at third base, and you're like, hey, yeah, that's a power hitter right there. But, he's not a third baseman. So, I don't want to say, I mean, was Bill Williamson known as a power hitter? He wasn't. So I don't know how you can say that, he's a weak stick. That's, I mean, as far as expectation goes, I didn't expect that from him. But anyway, you can text in. As far as the whole the coaching part of it, I mean, I don't think you can blame the pitching coaches at all just because it has been entirely about injuries. As far as the hitting goes, I would say underachieved, definitely. But clearly, we talked about, the lack of errors. And so as far as Perry Hill goes and coaching those infield guys, I think they've overachieved, no question. Yeah,
and I know Dan Wilson has made some decisions at times that have drawn some raised eyebrows and gotten some scrutiny, especially early on in these first few months of the season. But I will go overachieve for that simple fact that this is a first-year manager, and it's not to excuse any mistakes he makes, but a first-year manager
Good point.
Dealing with it on the fly to have his team where they are. Right now, the Mariners, to this point, and this is all we have to go on, 51-45, they're in a playoff spot. So you as a manager and a coaching staff have your team in a playoff spot. That's what you want for now. We'll do this at the end of the year, and we'll give our final season grades and break it down, and we can get back to this and specifically the overachieve or underachieve. So if they miss the playoffs, yeah, that might swing, and you'll say underachieve with this group. But for now, despite some bumps and some hiccups, Dan Wilson has this team in a playoff spot. So I'm going to say overachieve on that as well.
No, that's a great way to look at it, just in general. So, I think people are probably going to disagree with that, just because
they will, I'm sure.
Yeah, because of the lack of offense at times. But yeah, you look at the pitching, and then Mike, you also put down here the relievers. I don't see how you can say.
Well, I wanted to split it up. So starting pitching and relievers.
Yeah.
Do those separately.
Yeah. Well, I went through my explanation on the starting rotation. I think that they've not. It's kind of an incomplete, like I said, just because of the injuries. You don't really know where they're at. But as far as my assessment of the relievers, when you have two guys like Munoz and Brash, if he'd had a healthy, entirely full season, he's definitely going to the All-Star game. You look at the numbers that he putting up. It's just ridiculous. So, but again, because of injury, and then Gabe Spire has been really good this year. So, yeah, to me, I the relievers definitely have overachieved, no question. Especially when, I'm sorry, it's a sure thing that if Brash is throwing those same numbers the entire year and doesn't have to come back from the Tommy John surgery, he's in the All-Star game. I don't know how you could keep him out.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on the relievers. Certainly overachieve with Munoz's start to the season, and then Brash following that when he returned. So they had the 17 straight scoreless outings for Munoz and 18 for Brash, and those two have been everything you expected from the bullpen. Even with the injuries, though, to the starting rotation, I'm going to say underachieve, because back to the outfield where the expectations were so high after last year, and the Mariners did have the luxury of having all of their starters essentially healthy. But this was a team that was among the best in baseball. They alternated with the Phillies in trading back and forth the amount of quality starts. They've not come close to that. They're like 11th in quality starts. Their strikeout to 9 is middle of the pack. So it's been very middle of the pack. And maybe that's because of injuries, and maybe it's just because they haven't found their stride. But when you have a guy like Logan Gilbert and George Kirby and Luis Castillo and now Wu, who individually, Brian Wu, overachieve, but we're lumping them in as a group.
Yeah.
So the totality of this rotation, it has not been as dominant as you'd hope with the way this team's constructed. So to this point, with someone like Logan Gilbert, where his first outing of the season, 7 innings, everything you wanted and hoped for as an opening day starter for the first time, hey, optimistic about that. He has looked really good at times this year, but it hasn't been like that since coming back from the injury. And George Kirby, he has had the delayed start to his season, and he has had, a game or two where you thought this was it. What was against the Angels, where he looked overwhelmingly dominant.
Yes.
And that was that George Kirby we've seen at times. But the totality of it all, there's nothing that's been like day in and day out, or 3 starts in a row or 4 starts in a row where the rotation is essentially winning you the game, where you had something like Brian Wu just going 6 innings or 7 innings, and then, all right, you just need a little more from the offense, or Logan Gilbert on opening day. So if they do that in the second half, which I think they could, because now you have Kirby, he's a month past the injury, his delayed start to spring training, he's had a couple of months to build up. Logan Gilbert still just came back from that injury after, getting hurt at the end of April. So he's got plenty of season in front of him. But to this point, because the expectations and the hope was that the rotation would be the best in baseball, unfortunately, I'm going with underachieve on that one.
Yeah, I guess I just have a hard time, and maybe it's the easy way out to say incomplete just because of the injuries, But, yeah, I suppose you're right. You saw George Kirby go out. That game you were referencing against the Angels, 14 strikeouts. Yeah, just awesome vintage George Kirby. So, and there's been a few times where he has struggled. So I can understand, the underachieved part there. But I don't know. I just think they've been too banged up to, other than Wu has just been solid all the way through. I guess Castillo as well. But yeah, I think just when we see in the second half, because they're middle of the pack as far as their numbers are, ERA, opponent batting average, things like that. And I just think this is a much better team, and if they hadn't had some of the setbacks that they had physically, then they would be there.
Well, anyway, we can do this again at the end of the year, and we'll have a complete picture because the season will be done. But for now, that was our overachieve and underachieve. And speaking of the Mariners, they're back in action tomorrow. Big series against the Astros. A lot going on Friday. Tomorrow you have the pregame celebration of all the Mariners All-Stars. Technically 5 were named to the All-Star team. Cal's Home Run Derby Championship. There'll be a jersey presentation, and you can see the Home Run Derby trophy and chain. Plus, there's a special behind-the-scenes recap video of Cal's Home Run Derby win. And then on Monday and Tuesday in the series against the Brewers, there's a Big Dumper Derby deal. So a ticket special gets you a ticket and Home Run Derby champ t-shirt for just $25. You go to mariners.com/tickets for more info. Right now, let's take 2. Well, the Astros have announced their rotation, and the Mariners actually just announced their rotation for this weekend series against Houston as well. So Friday, it'll be Luis Castillo and the lefty Brandon Walter for the Astros. Saturday, Logan Evans against the right-hander Lance McCullers. And then Sunday, still TBA for the Mariners against the lefty, who the Mariners know well, Framber Valdez.
I can't wait for this series to start tomorrow. It's going to be such an indicator because you come off of it was so weird the way they ended that road trip, the Yankees sweeping them, and then some of the things that happened, and Wu having no hits through 7. I mean, there were just so many question marks there, and then you go and just sweep, entirely dominate the team with the best record in the league. And so here we go, right back against the Astros head to head. I think it's going to be really interesting. I can't wait for this series.
I am kind of curious. No Kirby or Gilbert. We'll ask Goldie about that.
Yeah.
He probably has a better reason why.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it seems confusing, but we'll ask Aaron Goldsmith. He joins us at 3 o'clock, so we'll get some more insight on that one. Well, TJ Watt has signed a 3-year, $123 million extension with the Steelers, $108 million guaranteed. And his $41 million average annual value, Dave, that's the highest ever for a non-quarterback.
And we were thinking maybe they'll trade him here, or we can, find a way to get TJ Watt here. And yeah, they just quietly really appreciate that guy and got it done. And I'm sure that, he knew that was coming. But highest paid player who's a non-quarterback, that's unbelievable. I mean, you would think there'd be a receiver or somebody, but
well, would you want to pay a receiver $41 million a year?
Never.
I mean, we were talking about not wanting to pay $30 million a year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money tied up on one defensive guy. That's the way of the NFL right now.
Yep. Yeah, and he's just a fantastic player. TJ Watt he is able to slow the game down, and yeah, he's just a menace. So, and I think he's one of the reasons why and when we did the predictions this year, I thought, I have them losing in Pittsburgh, but yeah, I also have them at 11-6, but yeah, I thought that one was going to be tough to win.
Take 2 is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife, swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. So we have Aaron Goldsmith coming up at 3, Brady Henderson coming up at 4 o'clock. There has been some movement, and all of a sudden our conversation yesterday about all these second-round picks holding out has changed, and it could signal some good news for the Seahawks and their 2 second-round picks, Nicky Manwari and Elijah Arroyo. We'll dive into everything you need to know about what's been going on with a flurry of second-round pick signings coming up next here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
He called it 20 years ago.
I'm the home run derby champ.
And as he always does, the Big Dumper delivered.
The Big Dumper is your home run derby champion.
Congratulations, Cal Raleigh.
I just can't believe it won. It's unbelievable.
We can't wait for the second half of the season of Cal on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
What'd you say? I'm the man. Oh, yeah.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs size, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event, going on right now through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything. But I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They're here 24/7, 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with some great news. I'm with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, you guys just increased your community coverage.
That's right, Brock. We like to say we're in your neighborhood. We have you covered here at IRG. We just added 2 fantastic locations. One is in Harbor Square in the Edmonds Bowl, and the other one is in the Mill Creek Town Center, right to the entrance to Mill Creek Town Center. So we'll be able to provide fantastic care to all of us and everybody's neighborhood.
You know I love it. Expert physical and hand therapy right in your neighborhood.
That's right. We're in your neighborhood. We want to be your neighborhood family physical therapist. We'll take care of you, your family, and your neighbor.
And remember, no referral needed, just personalized care when and where you need it. Visit irgpt.com and schedule your appointment today. With over 40 convenient locations, IRG is right in your neighborhood, and now 2 new spots as well. That's irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us.
We get notifications every time we get a review. And I said, how do you not let it eat you up? Sometimes I feel so responsible. And his answer was, I just look at it as an opportunity. We need that feedback to learn and to do better. I'm grateful for the feedback.
Big part of sales is the relationship aspect. People want to do business with someone they can trust, who's a real person. They don't feel like you're just going after their money. And when you take the time to get to know them, get to know their needs, not be a car salesman, but be a consultant, then they feel more comfortable with you, and just the experience is better on both sides.
It's not about closing deals. It's about opening relationships, helping people make the right choice. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Dave, this was the big talking point yesterday, I think across all of our shows, because the rookies were reporting the Seahawks second-round picks weren't there. Most of the second-round picks hadn't shown up, 30 of the 32. And we were wondering, all right, who would be the scab, if you will, the guy to cross the picket lines and be the guy that goes where everyone else might have been trying to hold out for all guaranteed money.
Breaks the streak.
Turns out it's the Niners, of course. Yeah. They're the ones. No, but it seems like a good deal. So an update since last night and now in these hours today, there have kind of been a trickle of picks that have signed. It's tough to really get complete definitive details. So Yahoo Sports has done a good job kind of tracking all these. Some have reportedly signed, but financial details have not come out. But here's the big one, and it sounds like this really got the ball rolling. So pick number 43, and remember we're talking about the Seahawks, and number 35 with Eamon Worry, the two in front of him, did get their contracts fully guaranteed. And then pick 50 with Elijah Arroyo. So a couple picks behind him have signed. So the number here, and this is from Adam Schefter, Alfred Collins, who was the number 43 pick with the 49ers, signed a 4-year, $10.3 million deal. So that's a kind of standard rookie contract. $9 million of that is guaranteed. So 88% of his contract is guaranteed, not fully guaranteed like those first two. That seems like a good chunk, though. And I wonder if that puts a frame of reference now for either Arroyo or Eamon Worry when they're continuing their negotiations.
Yeah, and it makes you feel a lot better, right? Yeah. That the dominoes are starting to fall just because you didn't want to have to go through with that. And especially, like I talked about yesterday, and I'm sure that these guys are well aware of how that will affect you. I mean, you're talking about, 90%, 88%. I mean, that's... And we'll see where they fall on that spectrum as far as, especially when we talk to Brady Henderson. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, the important thing is that you get your contract done, and then, and I've always said this because I know as a player, once you get your contract done, you never think about it, not until the end of the season. And if it's something that that's why I never understood players that would, like, in the middle of the season start complaining about how much they're making and everything. Like, that should be just set, But I think for these young guys, especially, it's very important for them to get there, and especially Eamon Worry and Arroyo, because both of them have plenty to prove. Especially Arroyo. I mean, he could be a very significant part of this offense this year. And the last thing you want to do is start off, with some kind of a contract dispute and you're a holdout. And, now all of a sudden, like I said yesterday, you fall behind. So, yeah, dominoes starting to fall. And I don't know, it just seemed like once we heard this, and we'll ask Brady, it just seems like my perspective is every year there is something like this and we kind of fret over it. And the Seahawks always get it done. Just because they do business the right way. So this whole time I haven't really been worried that much about those players, but it's nice to see, like you said, the guys starting to sign. And it's, and the big deal was the fully guaranteed. And now, we're getting down into the, I don't know where it's going to get at the bottom of the round. Another question we can ask Brady, but, is it going to go down to like 50% guaranteed or?
Well, here's some more context on picks later than Arroyo who have signed, and these are the ones not getting fully guaranteed. And it's kind of what makes me think that Arroyo will be easier to sign than Eamon Worry. I think that's going to be a difficult one because he's that first pick up right after those fully guaranteed deals. So having those two sign right away really did a disservice to the Seahawks. So we'll get into Eamon Worry in a second. But now we have reports here that number 60, running back R.J. Harvey of the Broncos, signed a 4-year deal, $7.36 million. He got his first 2 years fully guaranteed, and then his third year, 47.7%. So you're getting into half guarantees on third years or fourth years. So that was number 60. And then number 56, an offensive tackle with the Bears, 4-year deal, his first 2 years fully guaranteed, and his third 72% guaranteed. Yeah. So it seems like as you get a little bit later in the round, it's going to be, all right, the 2 years guaranteed, and then maybe some varying percentage of year 3. And perhaps that's where Arroyo kind of falls in line of thinking, all right, well, these guys behind me have signed. The issue early on now is that, we heard from Joel Corey when he was on Bump It Stacy yesterday, and he had a good breakdown, that Tyler Shuck at number 40, he's asking for fully guaranteed because he's going to go in assuming he's going to be the Saints starter or definitely competing for the starting quarterback job. So if the number 40 pick is asking for a fully guaranteed deal, we heard about the collusion the agents do. So I imagine everyone before him, 35 through 39, they're all asking for the same thing. Yeah. I can't imagine someone in front of Shuck saying, you know what? That's fine. I don't want all my money. I don't want it fully guaranteed.
It's just so weird to me sitting here listening to guarantee. Like, that was only something that occurred in baseball, right? I mean, you got a signing bonus. They can't take that away. But they weren't ever huge. And yeah, it's just amazing. But yeah, we'll see how they work it out. But again, I think it's one of those things that everybody frets over, and because this has been going on, every year, and it's I just don't think it's ever been a problem for the Seahawks just because of the way that they do business. They're very trustworthy. The players trust them, and then the relationships also with a lot of what John does, John Schneider, and I don't think Mike McDonald deals with them much, but. Some of the salary cap guys and everything. It's about their relationships with
Joey Lane.
Yeah, like Joey Lane. You going to explain that?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think you can.
I can explain it. We were talking about McDonald and John Schneider, and you remembered that during one of the John Schneider shows that you and Bob had John Schneider out there, and Mike McDonald hopped in on that one. So you guys were discussing Ernest Jones, who signed that contract, and John was answering the question about how the deal got done. So he had a good, long answer, and then he really focused on Joey Lane and the role that Joey Lane played in getting the deal done. So he finishes talking about Joey Lane, and then you said, yeah, we had him on the show after the deal got done. And both of them simultaneously said, oh, Joey Lane? You had Joey Lane on the show? And they laughed and high-fived, and they got a big chuckle out of it.
I was referring to Ernest Jones. Yeah. And anyway, they thought that was funny enough to high-five, apparently, two grown men. But anyway, no, that was really funny. Anyway,
we went back and watched it today. That's why it's fresh in our mind.
Yeah, that was hilarious. But yeah, one of Mike McDonald's dad jokes, I think, is what that is. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to see that the dominoes are starting to fall, because you don't want any of that kind of thing going on, especially Eamon Wari. I mean, again, we talked about it yesterday when we interviewed him. I just thought he was a great kid. Everything you hear about him, the comparisons to Cam Chancellor, you're like, oh man, I sure don't want this guy holding out. And really, it's important. It's important for those guys to, like we talk about, the camp starts on July 23rd, and the last preseason game is August 23rd. So you don't have a lot of time. And so even if let's say a second rounder misses like 2 days, that's huge, man. You're behind. So yeah, I'm glad to see that they're starting to fall and that you're starting to get guys in camp. And I think we go through this every year and wring our hands over it, and then it gets done.
Hey, if you missed any of our show or just want to go watch things again or check out some kind of exclusive video content we're putting out there, like you and Bob filmed your 5 reasons why the Seahawks will make the playoffs this year. Reason number 2 has just gone up on our YouTube page, and we're going to talk about it at 3:30 today. Dave's reason number 2 and Bob's reason number 2 why the Seahawks will make the playoffs. But things like that, they're up on our YouTube page. So are our interviews with Seahawks players, Mariners players, coaches, much more. So check out the Seattle Sports YouTube page. Search for Wyman and Bob on there as well. You can find us on all social media platforms. Have some good stuff going up there that you should probably check out, because you guys have done some good job with those videos. Very entertaining to see you get more on camera love, Dave. When I think Dave Wyman, I think this presence needs to be featured on video more. So go check all that out when you get a chance. But yeah, things like that will be up there. We'll talk about our number 2 reason why the Seahawks will make the playoffs coming up at 3:30. But up next, ESPN's top 10 position rankings come to a close with cornerbacks. Devin Witherspoon, he did make the list. We'll spoil that, but maybe not where you thought he would crack that list. We'll break that down coming up next. Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman with you here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The clack of the cleats, the sounds of summer drifting off Lake Washington. Green 18. These sounds of summer are the prelude to the symphony of fall and winter. Football season is coming. Just 6 days until Seahawks training camp begins.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Progressive knows we all crave validation.
Girl, you are not 37.
I would have guessed 27.
You guys are too sweet.
Sure, dewy skin. Terrific.
Is something wrong, Ned?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary without a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow, tonight's all about your skincare.
Wow. With Snapshot from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Saturday night, October 25th. Experience the thrill and excitement of high-energy mixed martial arts. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this amazing professional mixed martial arts event, the World Fighting Championships, October 25th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details, on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's summer savings event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Football's about to start. Training camp is next week, so I guess it makes sense, Dave, that ESPN has come to an end with their top 10 position rankings. I didn't realize they'd done 11 of them. 11 position breakdowns. And they come to an end with cornerbacks. We kind of thought this would be a big one. And it's tough because they didn't really distinguish between, just a slot corner, like Devin Witherspoon has primarily been, and an outside corner where you think in coverage they have a lot more value. And you're welcome, I said coverage, not guarding anyone. So I make sure now I never say guard when you're around, since I know that draws your particular ire. So
you don't need to be congratulated for that, Mike, because that's just something
just
you should
the lowest
do.
bar, the lowest bar of getting over something. I'm congratulating myself. Yeah. So when you're lumping all of them together, slot corner and then an outside guy where coverage is so paramount, shut down a receiver, a lot of these guys on the list seem like they're primarily outside guys. So Devin Witherspoon comes in at number 9, which I think it's great for a guy who's only been in the league 2 years. But when you see this list and you kind of assess where he is, and we'll go through them all in a second, but just right off the top, Devin Witherspoon, number 9. What do you think about that ranking there?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just looking at like Patrick Surtain. I mean, he is a really good player. I mean, the guy has 2 pick sixes every year. He gets 3 or 4 interceptions. He's got 11 in his 4-year career. So, yeah, I get that part of it. But the thing that I always think about is that the value of Witherspoon, I think, is where he gets screwed. I mean, he does everything, and he's fearsome. And, I mean, he's just a menace. He's all over the field. So, and I would much rather have a guy like that is versatile and able to play like in the box and everything. But Surtain, I mean, he is. So, yeah, you look at the first few guys on this list, I'm like, okay, I understand it. Mm-hmm. I understand it. But I just think, as far as value goes, and just because he's just so unique. But, I do appreciate these other corners. I remember watching Sauce Gardner, and this was after, I think it was the Hard Knocks when the Jets were on, and I believe this was right after his rookie year. And they were watching from down on the field. They had some of the videos of him covering Garrett Wilson, and I'm like, okay, this guy is really good. I mean, he is able to just stick with any receiver in the league. So I get the first few, but yeah, I don't want to say that Devin Witherspoon should be, 1 or 2, but I think he's underappreciated. And I think, I think he's probably more like 6 or 7 or maybe number 5 as far as the rankings.
I actually have to correct myself because I thought he was number 10. Then I looked at one of the lists we had. It was number 9. Now it's been updated again, and he is number 10. So, yes, Devin Witherspoon is number 10. I had that originally, put him as number 9. I think that list, they forgot to put Quinion Mitchell, the Eagles cornerback, who now on this updated version is popped up ahead.
Oh, I'm looking
at Witherspoon.
At one right now that Witherspoon's at 9.
I know, and I just updated it. I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Number 9, that's what I had him as, but now refresh that, and I just searched and put it back out there. We got to get to the bottom of this. We got to figure out what's going on here. This ranking now has Witherspoon at number 10. I don't know what happened. Huh.
Well, I just
anyway.
updated it. It's number 9. But yeah.
So he's somewhere
Derek
on there.
Stingley Jr. is number 10. So,
Well,
I mean, does that really matter? I mean, no.
That's where I think they
not
screwed up, because on this one, he's number 2. So that's very confusing. What a range of positions for him.
Yeah.
All right. So Witherspoon's either 9 or 10, depending on when you hit refresh, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay.
So, I mean, look, I've seen a lot of these corners, got a chance to look at, like, Jalen Johnson in Chicago, and, you look at who are some of the other guys I got a chance to see. Jalen Ramsey, I've been watching him his whole career. L'Jarius Sneed, your guy, Tennessee Titan. I mean, these are all good players, but I just think the thing about Spoon is that he plays at such a different level. It's like a different, like, electricity that's running through his body, and it's just constantly in motion, and he can make plays inside and out. And, I saw one of the things about him that they were praising him for was his physicality, which is kind of interesting because he's not that big of a guy. And I think that's something that we've kind of worried about with him, is that he's fairly slight, not the biggest guy in the world, but man, he plays fearsome. I mean, he's up in the line of scrimmage. He's a good hitter. He doesn't mind contact, and he's just constantly going. But the one thing is, like, when he gets blocked, like, he hardly ever gets hit down the middle. He's always moving and, getting away and to the outside, and, he ducks under a lot of blocks, and, a lot of times that's not very secure. It's not a great thing to do, but he does it, and he makes up for it with the speed to get back where he should be. So, I mean, he's just all over the field, and I don't know. I don't think I would take anybody here. Honestly, I don't think I would take any of these other guys. Maybe Patrick Surtain, but I don't think he can make plays like Spoon can. I don't think he's as physical. And yeah, I mean, to me, he should be. If he's number 1, I'm not surprised at all, because I think there's a lot of people out there that really appreciate his game. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been a shock to me if he was there at first, just because of his versatility.
What about over the next few years, though, when you get to the sense of, all right, you're going to have to pay him because you want him on your team for the long term, so you're going to give him a second contract. Does he need to shift outside more? Like, all these guys on here who have been highly paid feel like they're primarily coverage corners. With that position, would you rather have someone who's more of an impact lockdown corner, or still someone like Witherspoon? Because if you're going to pay Witherspoon, then you still need to figure out your 2 outside guys. And we talked about Reek Woolen, who actually makes this list, is also receiving votes. But Witherspoon, eventually, do you see them perhaps moving him more to the outside? Or do you think he's unique enough, and with this defense, they can continue to kind of put him all over the field?
Yeah, well, I mean, from one sense, the older you get, obviously, the slower you get. So, but I still think that they could move him outside if all of a sudden his body starts to break down, because he does take a lot of hits. That's the one thing about him. And and again, I talk about his size and his stature, and whether or not that's going to be a problem for him as far as staying healthy, but he really hasn't had much of a problem. And you look at just the number of snaps that he's in the game. I mean, I just think when it comes time for his contract, whatever the highest, I mean, if they're paying more for him than any other corner, I think it's worth it. I really do. I think he's that revolutionary of a player. I mean, he's one of those guys that comes along once every 5 or 6 years.
I figured out the issue. 570 very helpfully called me a bonehead, but I'm correct. He's correct in this sense that was last year's list.
The
2024 one. This year's list, he is 10. 2024, he was number 9. Okay, so thank you, 570. And you know what? That's fair. Bonehead move there to put last year's list on there. So in the top 10 position rankings for this year, Devin Witherspoon is number 10, but kind of around the same range. So he is back-to-back years a top 10 corner. We'll kind of get into more of what this means for the Seahawks, though, in terms of overall positional talent. Not a lot of guys that crack the top 10. They all were on defense in these 11 categories, so we will talk about that. But coming up next, we're going to get back to the Mariners. Aaron Goldsmith, our TV broadcaster, joins us next here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
He called it 20 years ago.
I'm the home run derby champ.
And as he always does, the Big Dumper delivered.
The Big Dumper is your home run derby champion.
Congratulations, Cal Raleigh.
I just can't believe it won. It's unbelievable.
We can't wait for the second half of the Season of Cal on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
What you say? I'm the man. Oh, yeah.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
The biggest scuba sale in America starts next Thursday at Underwater Sports in North Seattle. Clearance prices on masks, regulators, computers, fins, tanks, BCs, free photo and video seminars, free fitting and incredible savings on a custom fit dry suit. Big savings on beginner, advanced, and specialty classes. Underwater Sports' 47th Annual Divers Fair starts next Thursday at the North Seattle Underwater Sports Store. Don't miss the biggest scuba sale in America.
Crank up the hits and bring on the boom. It's 80s fireworks night at T-Mobile Park. Get ready for a totally tubular show this Friday, presented by T-Mobile. The Mariners face off against the division rival Astros at 7:10. And after the game, the sky will light up to the sound of your favorite 80s jams. Big hits on the field and more big hits after dark.
Grand slam! Julio takes it deep and clears them off.
Mariners baseball, fireworks, and hair metal? Sounds like a rad night. Lock in your seats now at Mariners.com and check out what else is on deck at the ballpark this summer, including 3 straight value games against the Brewers, July 21st through 23rd, and the next Mariners fireworks show on August 1st.
Goodbye, baseball. He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
It's the Graz here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inner Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com, that's PremierGolfCenters.com, and book your tee time today.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year. And I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit BayAlarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Seahawks training camp, powered by Boeing, is back at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, July 23rd through August 12th. Take in stunning lakeside views, grab autographs from your favorite players, and let the kids join in on pre-practice football, drills, and more. Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
The countdown is on.
Just 6 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners have announced their pitching probables for this weekend against Houston. Tomorrow, Luis Castillo against Brandon Walter. Saturday is Logan Evans against Lance McCullers. And then Sunday, TBA against the lefty Framber Valdez. Meanwhile, former Mariner Rowdy Tellez had his contract selected by the from the Rangers AAA affiliate. He'll be on that big league club when Texas hosts the Tigers tomorrow. And in the NFL, the Steelers and TJ Watt have agreed to a 3-year, $123 million extension with $108 million guaranteed.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, I know the players like it. I know the broadcasters probably appreciate it. But, Dave, I think this is way too long of a break. We have Aaron Goldsmith wearing a backwards hat. That's how long the break has gone on. But, yes, Mariners TV broadcaster Aaron Goldsmith joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. I love the look there, Goldie. What's going on, man?
Well, I just landed at SeaTac 2 hours ago from my all-star break vacation. And when they said, hey, after you go to baggage claim, you can get on the radio and not only talk with Wyman, but Lefko as well. I said, how quickly can I race home? It's great to be with you guys.
Hardly any sarcasm picked up there at all.
No sarcasm there.
Well, okay, let me ask you a question. You get in your bags at SeaTac. Does it drive you nuts, the people that stand right on, like stand back, and then when your bag comes, step up? The people that stand there and just wait for their bag and they're right on the rail and you can't get there, it's like you have to line up. That's ridiculous. I scold people regularly.
Lefko, isn't there a segment dedicated to these kinds of rants on your program?
Oh, yeah. We had to get rid of it because it just became the same complaints over and over again, but you're right.
Yeah, what's bugging Bob?
What's bugging Bob? It was just traffic, and we would complain about traffic endlessly, but you're right. We could bring that back. We could spend an entire hour.
It's timely.
Complaining about airport etiquette.
Because you were just picking up your bags at SeaTac.
He knocked people out of the way. That's why I didn't have time to change. Aaron, no, when we talk about this Mariners team, obviously Cal Raleigh has dominated the conversation because of the year he's had and because of what he did during this All-Star game and winning the home run derby, and this year of Cal continues. I kind of want to move it forward a little bit. What are your expectations for him in this second part of the season, knowing the workload he already put in, and he did have a busy All-Star break? I mean, the man's everywhere. He's on Porta Potty sponsorships now. What do you expect out of Cal Raleigh over this second part of the season?
Yeah, you know you're hot when you're sponsoring Porta Potties. Like, that's the new level. I began the season after the first month. I was one of the first to say, well, you can't expect Cal to have this kind of production in May. And then at the end of May, I said, you can't expect for Cal to have this kind of production in June. And I think you know where I'm going with this. So at this point, I mean, he is on such a heater. Will it catch up to him at some point? Because he is apparently human. And at some point, given the wear and tear of his position in particular, will he slow down to some degree? Like, probably. I've been thinking that for a while at this point, but maybe he won't. I mean, maybe he will not. So I'm not going to try to forecast that anymore at this point. Right now, I'm expecting him, and this is ridiculous, but I'm expecting him to put together the single greatest season by a catcher in baseball history. Like, that's what I'm expecting. Is that unfair? Maybe. I mean, that's a pretty tall bar to clear. But that's what he's done through almost 100 games, is put himself not more than on pace for that. I mean, he can slow down and he could still have that, depending on what kind of metric you're looking at. But however it ends for Cal Raleigh, however this season finishes for his individual numbers, what we've already witnessed is greatness. I mean, we've witnessed truly greatness, especially at that position for the first half of the season. I mean, it's an all-time first half. It was really special to watch, and hopefully he'll just pick up where he left off.
That's what his little brother said about him, right? Greatness. You know, that's the other thing I think with him, Aaron, is that he's such a steady character that it doesn't seem. He at one point said something about handling this with grace, or being graceful or something. And, you know, there's been a couple of moments, like with a Pat McAfee interview, where guy kind of asked a pretty basic question, like, which way, what makes you decide to go lefty or righty? And he kind of bailed him out with the answer. And, you know, well, there's a couple of guys that sometimes will go righty that are switch hitters. I mean, I just think he's done such a great job with all the media. He seems to say yes to everything and everybody. And he just, you know, so as far as a guy having, you know, declining numbers in the second half or whatever, it sure doesn't seem like it's going to be because of anything that's going on in his head. I mean, he just seems entirely unaffected by this.
When the Mariners gave him that extension at the beginning of the year, they gave it as much to the person as they did the player. Obviously, the player, that's the guy that we can measure, right? The person, that's a harder thing to measure, and people listening right now don't have full access to Cal Raleigh, the player. Even I don't have full access to Cal Raleigh, the player, and I'm around him virtually every day. But the Mariners do, and he's come up through the Mariners system, drafted and developed, obviously, as we all know, and has blossomed into something beyond anyone's wildest dreams at this point. I think the Mariners truly believe that they had a catcher of the future and a guy who could hold that position for at least 6 years in Seattle. But obviously what he's blossomed into, I don't think anybody gets drafted in the third round and you necessarily anticipate this. Yeah. And not just this year, right? It's more than just this year, which we can't forget. This has been building for a number of years now at this point. But it's as much the person as the player. And I think anybody who watched that home run derby and saw all of the fanfare that Cal Raleigh didn't just bring to himself, but brought to the Seattle Mariners Baseball Club and brought to the city of Seattle and to the Pacific Northwest as a whole. Cal Raleigh is somebody, and what I'm about to say is not a surprise. Cal Raleigh is somebody that everybody in this city, in this region, can be and should be incredibly proud to have as, for lack of a better word, a brand ambassador, a city ambassador. And that's the guy that you want. And it's been just such a thrill to watch his success. And I think I speak for everybody, whether it be fans listening right now or people inside that ballpark, people in that clubhouse. Everyone is just so happy for Cal Raleigh because of the kind of person that he is.
Yeah, perfectly said there. We always joke that Dave just talks too much about him, that he'll work him into every conversation. So that's our issue, is we talk about him too much.
I want him to be a backup linebacker for the Seahawks. Is that too much?
That's too much. We talk about Cal Raleigh too much in a glowing way. Aaron, when you look at this Mariners team, obviously a lot will kind of come down to Julio, and he's been such an X factor for this team over these second halves of the season the last few years. How much stock do you put into that Detroit series? The home run in every game of that series to really end the first half on a high note. What do you take away from what he showed there?
Yeah, maybe the All-Star break came at a bad time for Julio. Yeah. Who knows? But it's certainly, hey, everybody wants to go into the break feeling good, whether it's the team as a whole or players individually. And it doesn't work out that way for every team and every player, obviously. But for Julio to kind of find that stroke, that pull power in particular, going into the break, it's fantastic. It's fantastic for him. It's fantastic for the Mariners. If Julio does his summer act, like we have seen for basically every year of his career, if he does that and you can get some version of what Cal Raleigh has been, even 80%, 70% of the Cal Raleigh show that we've seen for almost 100 games now, you pitch it, and you're in a really good spot if you're the Seattle Mariners. I always kind of go back to the Royals from last year. Obviously a playoff team, a team that exceeded a lot of expectations going into the season. And they had the MVP runner-up in Bobby Witt Jr., who would have been the MVP under most seasons had it not been for like a top 20, truly a top 20 all-time season from Aaron Judge. You had Bobby Witt Jr., who was an aircraft carrier. You had Vinny Pasquantino, who was really good, and really good in clutch situations as well. He wasn't elite, but he was a very good player. And then you had Salvador Perez, who, he kind of did his normal thing. Just hit a lot of bombs and didn't hit for a great average, but was a thumper. You had those three guys, and then you had a bunch of kind of like average or below average hitters. And it turned out to be a pretty good offensive team with some really good pitching that made it to the playoffs. If the Mariners can find a way to do something like that with Cal, with Julio, with Randy, and certainly I would put the Mariners' complementary pieces this year up against the Royals from last year and say that it clears the Royals' starting nine probably handily. I think the Mariners will be in really good shape. Obviously, a lot then falls on the pitching staff, which has been worth noting, like a really good pitching staff since, I don't know where you want to kind of start the starting line, but if you go back to even just mid-June or so, they've been one of the almost top 5 staffs in baseball. So I think the Mariners are finding themselves in a good spot overall. I know being the third wild card team and trailing the Astros by as much is certainly not what they dreamt of having, but if you told the Mariners coming out of the All-Star break you would be in a playoff position, I don't think there's a team in baseball that would turn that down.
Is it just too obvious that they go get, because everybody's talking about it, is Eugenio Suarez? And I'm kind of torn there, too, because we're talking about underachieving, overachieving. Ben Williamson, has he underachieved offensively? I mean, he's hitting .259. He's got 1 home run. He's not really a power guy, but you like to have power at the corners, right, at first and third. So, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of torn on that one, and I would love to have Suarez back for sure, but I don't know. It's not like Ben Williamson's doing a terrible job. What's your thought there? I mean, is it too obvious? They also talk about O'Hearn from Baltimore. I mean, we hear those kinds of things a lot, and it almost seems like, well, since we're talking about it, it's probably not going to happen.
Well, I think the corner infield spots are two pretty obvious spots the Mariners could look to improve at the deadline. I say it every year, and I'm not the only one. Everybody says it and should remember it. It takes two, right? I mean, the Mariners have as good as prospect capital as any team in baseball, but it takes another team to want what you have. And I know that sounds like an obvious thing, but it's a really important thing to remember. The Mariners have proven time and time again to be among the most aggressive teams in baseball, especially when the calendar gets to this point in the season. So I don't think anybody should have concerns that the Mariners aren't ready to make a deal and to wheel and deal a little bit, more than a little bit. But it does take two. I think in terms of your specific question about Ben Williamson, start with the positive. I mean, he's been everything that he was advertised as defensively, right? He's already grades out as one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball. And this was a guy who was playing mid-major baseball 2 years ago, basically. And he's really proven it over at third base, which is shouldn't be a surprise given how he was billed, but to see him actually play like that has been really impressive. The issue, to your point offensively, about if you have wanting power on the corners, if you don't get power on the corners, then you got to get power someplace else, and then it starts to put more pressure on the other position players to provide that power. And a lot of that's been kind of camouflaged a little bit because nobody's hit more home runs in baseball than the Mariners catcher, right? That's been an obvious boost. And because as of late, Rosarena has been on a pretty much of a home run heater tear, which has been fun to see. But Ben Williamson is hitting for an average. He's hitting above the major league batting average, which is in the 240s somewhere. But when you don't walk and you don't hit for power, that means that your offensive game is reliant on you just getting singles and doubles. And when you hit the ball on the ground over half the time, which is what Ben Williamson does, even though he hits the ball very hard, you'll find yourself grounding out quite a bit, which is what has happened this year. His tools defensively I wouldn't call them elite. Like when I think elite, I think Arenado, right? I think Matt Chapman. Like those are the elite third baseman, Ke'Bryan Hayes. But he's remarkably good. He's a very good defender at third base. And so he's maturing. He's learning at the major league level. It's really hard to play a corner position to last in the major leagues and not hit for power. Will that come eventually for Ben Williamson? I mean, the Mariners certainly hope so. And he hits the ball hard enough that you would think that it could happen. But from what I have seen right now, I would not count on him rolling out of bed to begin the second half, and all of a sudden he's lifting the ball and pulling it over the fence. That just doesn't seem to be part of his game right now.
Aaron, when we saw the probables come out, I think everyone starts to speculate, well, why no George Kirby? Why no Logan Gilbert? They've been off for at least a week. In Logan's case, it would be a week on Sunday. Kirby a little bit further than that. But what insight do you have on why they might not be pitching this weekend? I know Sunday's still TBA. Is this, hey, they have dealt with injuries to this point in the season? Or, when you see Castillo and Logan Evans, why them, I guess, to start the second half instead of a Gilbert or a Kirby?
This happened before. Maybe it was even last year where they really they waited a long time, as long as they could possibly, before Logan pitched. Obviously, he was in the All-Star game last year. I wish I could share some immediate insight. I haven't had any contact with anybody over there since the end of the first half. I'm sure we'll hear something tomorrow. But I will say this. When this question has cropped up before in years past, and it has, there's always been an answer. And I think we all know the Mariners pitching group is pretty dialed and easily among the best in baseball, if not the best. So there is a reason, and one of the very obvious reasons just very well might be just trying to give them an extended breather, because we've seen both those guys go down with injury, talking about Gilbert and Kirby in particular, and maybe that's a large part of the reason why they're doing this.
Hey, what were your impressions of the All-Star Week, the home run derby, the game itself, and did you get a little bit of chance to get some downtime, or were you just grinding on baseball the entire time?
I did get some nice downtime, which is wonderful. Spent a lot of time with some family, and I watched all of the derby. And I watched a good chunk of the All-Star game. It was date night with the wife, so we had to work around we had to work the All-Star game around dinner a little bit. Right. But nobody does it better than the Major League All-Star game. It's the best All-Star game. I loved seeing the uniforms back on the field.
Yeah, Dave did too.
I didn't notice that they were wearing different uniforms, Goldie. I really didn't. I'm not a uniform guy. So Mike finds that tremendously amusing.
That's too bad. Yeah. I think there's some, we can all agree there's like great pride when you see your team's jersey in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
So I thought that was awesome that they brought that back. And the Hank Aaron tribute was unbelievable. I don't know how I can't wait. Nobody does ceremonies better than the Mariners. And I can't wait to talk to the Mariners people up in the control room about what insight they have on how the Braves and maybe Fox, I don't know, helped coordinate that. That was something like I've never seen before.
Well, Aaron, I'll quote you here in describing my feeling about Wyman not knowing the uniforms.
I think Wyman's a psychopath.
Yeah, Mike loves that clip.
We all love that clip. Aaron, on the heels of that All-Star game, we saw something that seems like it now could have an impact on future regular seasons, that ABS challenge system. It seemed pretty fluid and seamless. How do you think it went? We've heard that some players don't like it. You guys went through it in spring training because the Mariners ballpark was one of the ones that had it. But how do you think seeing that on the national stage will lead to the future of ABS in baseball?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was part of everyday Major League Baseball next year. I'm certainly not saying it will be, but I'm just saying I won't be surprised if that happens. The commissioner has spoken, this was months ago at this point, he's made it clear that he is at least bringing that to the table as a possibility. We did see it in action up close every day in spring training. I thought it was great. My biggest concern with it was how much would it slow the game down, right? You just get this random pitch in the third inning and somebody taps their head and now we're waiting 90 seconds. And I was pleasantly surprised that wasn't the case at all. As we saw in the All-Star game, it was very quick. I don't know what the time was, but 15 seconds. What do you think? 15 seconds or less? I think it actually creates some really fun drama, which I was not prepared for in spring training, that I was also pleasantly surprised by. And I think there's some really interesting strategy to it as well. if 2 remains the number, which seems to be the number that they've settled in on, each team gets 2 challenges, and when you are wrong on a challenge, you lose it. If you win the challenge, you keep it. Like if a batter challenges the first pitch or an early pitch of an at-bat and is wrong, and they gets rung up on strike 3 that everybody in the ballpark knew was a ball, does he challenge that and risk burning both of his team's challenges in one at-bat? Things like that. I do think it will be fun. And I think what you're trying to avoid, obviously, is you're trying to avoid the call that really swings the game, right? That's what you're trying to avoid. Just like with replay, we wanted to avoid the bang-bang plays, the plays of the plate that decide the game late in particular. That's what you want to get right, and that's also true with the ABS system.
Well, Aaron, it's been a lot of fun. The break is over, maybe sadly, but also in a good way, because that means baseball is back for a pretty amazing, fun second half of the season that's coming up starting tomorrow. You are more than welcome to come out to the set tomorrow. We're going to be at Edgar's. Ice cream nachos are being dropped off, so you're welcome to dive in and have some of those. And I knew I'd get him with that. He likes it too.
Well,
ice cream.
Okay,
you
first of
sell
all,
a guy an ice cream, yeah.
You know Nelson is going to tree chipper those ice cream nachos like just like an absolute sneak attack. I mean, he's going to look like a toddler with all that melted soft serve on his face.
You left him speechless. No comment even.
Aaron, do you want to tell the soft serve story? You can if you want to.
All I remember is that I hadn't seen Nelson. Is that the first time I ever saw you in person? It wasn't, was it?
It was like the second or third time.
Yeah, Nelson went almost a decade without me knowing what he looked like, and I think we were all better for that. And then the second time that I saw him, he was coming out of the press box. I don't know how he got up there in the first place.
Yeah.
And he had probably 7 cups brimming with swirl soft serve. Like, it just couldn't have been a bigger greedy look of any child. And he rainbow sprinkles, the whole thing. So he's a pro. We know that.
Let me point something out. It was 3 cups of soft serve because we were setting up the Edgar's broadcast on a 90-degree day. So I went up there to get it for me and the interns.
Matt,
you can turn the camera off now. Thanks.
He's never brought me any.
Yeah, I think all 3 are for him.
Yeah.
So good stuff, Aaron. Thanks for taking the time with us, and we will, I guess, hear you and see you in the future here. Second half begins. Thanks for joining us.
Lefko, it's onto the paddleboard from here. I'll be thinking of you.
Did you get any paddleboarding in during the break? That's what I thought.
This will be today's my. I've been out of state.
All
Today's
right.
my first time of the entire season.
All right, I'm sorry we kept you so long. Get out there. It's very important.
right.
So enjoy, Aaron.
Love you, Matt.
Bye.
Oh, always
Thanks,
the
Goldie.
best. Aaron Goldsmith there, Mariners TV broadcaster. Got a shot in at Matt, got a shot in at me and you, so it was all good there.
Well, actually, you threw the shot in at me by playing his recording.
That's done. That's done with love.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Well, yes, the second half does start tomorrow, and it's a big series against the Astros. So tomorrow night, Dave, pregame celebration of 5 All-Stars that were named. You know, Julio was named, then Arozarena was a replacement. So Mariners had 5 All-Stars named. You will get to honor those guys. Cal's Home Run Derby Championship will also be celebrated. Get to see the jersey presentation and the Home Run Derby, as you were mentioning, the chain. That'll be there along with that trophy. And then the Mariners are going to air a behind-the-scenes recap video of Cal's Home Run Derby win. So that's Friday. Then Monday and Tuesday, there's a Big Dumpers Derby special. Actually, they're calling it the Big Dumper Derby deal. You like the alliteration there. Yeah. You can get for $25 a special ticket and a Home Run Derby Champ T-shirt. Go to mariners.com/tickets for more info. Should we get you one of those?
Yeah, I'm all in on the Cal stuff. It's pretty amazing, like that. A couple of years ago, if you'd have told him like this is all going to be for you, you know, all the stuff. And I talked to you about this, Mike, before the show about how he just says yes to everybody. I mean, you see him all these different places. And when I saw him on Pat McAfee, I was like, wow. And he actually spent, I think it was 30 minutes with him. Yeah. So, and then our buddy Adam Ray has 10 questions with Cal Raleigh, and he seems happy to do everything. I keep, Shannon does her interview every week with him, the Cal Raleigh show, and I keep waiting for him to run out of words because, he's like, and I wonder, like when he was mic'd up, when they were playing, It seemed like he was all business there. But, he gets off the field, and he seems to be handling it really well. He's in the national commercial now. We talked about that yesterday in the T-Mobile commercial. So, yeah, he's doing it all and enjoying it seems like. So that's cool because I thought, he's kind of a shy guy. Remember in the beginning, he didn't have a lot of words in the first time we interviewed him. And, I thought maybe he might get burned out, but he seems to be handling this really well.
So go celebrate Cal Raleigh tomorrow, this weekend, the rest of the series, the rest of the season as well. But a lot going on there for the Mariners. We'll get back to some more Mariners talk, but up next, the Seahawks will make the playoffs. We have the reason number 2 in our 5 reasons they'll make the playoffs this year. Reason number 2 coming up next. Mike Lefko, Dave Wyman with you. It's Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
He called it 20 years ago.
I'm the home run derby champ.
And as he always does, the Big Dumper delivered.
The Big Dumper is your home run derby champion.
Congratulations, Cal Raleigh.
I just can't believe it long. It's unbelievable.
We can't wait for the second half of the season of Cal on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
What'd you say? I'm the man. Oh, yeah.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Tired of sitting on your suitcase? 2 words. Packing cubes. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. Now open and free through summer.
Bump here letting you know the Ford Summer Sales event is happening now at West Hills Ford, where you can get the 2024 F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive at $14,982 off MSRP on approved credit. West Hills Ford, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Crank up the hits and bring on the boom. It's 80s fireworks night at T-Mobile Park. Get ready for a totally tubular show this Friday, presented by T-Mobile.
He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
The Mariners face off against the division rival Astros at 7:10. And after the game, the sky will light up to the sound of your favorite 80s jams. Lock in your seats now at mariners.com/fireworks.
I'm Chris Davis, former King County prosecutor and founder of the Davis Law Group in Seattle. If you've been injured in a crash caused by impaired or drunk drivers, there are special considerations that need to be taken to protect your legal rights. Davis Law Group's team of investigators and lawyers know how to properly investigate DUI crashes and identify all parties who might be legally responsible for your injuries and damages. Call Davis Law Group at 206-888-8888 or get my free book at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey everybody, it's Bob Stelton here, and let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. Now, I'm somebody who struggled with up-close vision. I couldn't read restaurant menus. I couldn't read receipts. I couldn't read the text on my phone. I had this crazy large font on there. I put the readers away. I went to K2 Vision, and I'm actually reading some of what I'm saying to you right now. I couldn't do that before. It's amazing. So if you're like me, you struggle with distance vision, or you always need a pair of glasses, K2 Vision RLE is quick. It's absolutely painless, and I am seeing great without glasses or readers. RLE is a game changer. I'm excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that, more importantly, is permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Very entertaining conversation with Aaron Goldsmith. They always are. He's always great to have on the show. Talked about a wide range of things. I didn't know we were going to get into airport frustrations, but there are a lot, as you and I were then talking about. Man, just the people and the things they do in the airport. It's like they forget how to exist in society. And that only happens in the airport.
They turn into idiots.
Yeah.
People that fly, yeah. It's just.
Oh, it must be our listeners then. They must be the ones flying.
It's not Friday yet. Tomorrow, though. We were talking about all the different things that annoy us. But yeah, I just can't stand it when, you're on the baggage carousel and people stand right up. You go right up to the front to wait. It's like, no. You step back, leave a little room, and then when your bag comes, then you step up. You don't just stand there. Idiotic. The other thing is when the plane lands and the people that, like, they're in row 20 and they're going to sprint up to, like, where the 10th seat is, the 10th row. It's like, why? You're cutting in line. Why would you do that? Yeah, there's lots of frustrations at the airport.
We could probably spend 30 minutes.
Yeah, but mostly it is, like you said, people just turn into morons. They just.
We're living in a society, Dave.
Yeah, exactly.
Except in the airport, I guess. No rules apply.
Apparently, Goldie didn't want to get into that. So, yeah.
Well, I think he probably had a lot of complaints, too. He just didn't want to get frustrated.
When they talk Mariner baseball.
We're talking Mariner baseball. It's more fun. We are going to talk more about the Mariners, but we're getting to the end of our reasons why the Seahawks will make the playoffs. So you and Bob filmed 5 reasons. These videos are up on our YouTube page, our Seattle Sports YouTube page as well, including number 2 that just came out a couple hours ago. So we'll get to that right now. Dave, what is your reason number 2 the Seahawks will make the playoffs?
Yeah, it's funny. The way I positioned this was a lot of, like, this is what I think people are either shying away from this, and my answer is Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's going to have a great year, but I think that's also, if you look at the negative side of it, why are people predicting 7.5, 8.5 win totals? I think it's because of Sam Darnold. And, and look, I get it. I get that part of it. That's a big move, replacing your quarterback. I think with the coaching and everything that's going to come along with Sam Darnold and all of the new offensive stuff, I think that's what they're overlooking that. And I think what people are doing, Mike, I think they're looking at the last 2 games that they played, which were against, obviously, literally in a playoff game against the Rams, and then the Detroit Lions were in the playoffs. And They ended up getting knocked off by Washington. Is that right? Last year? Am I trying to remember? Yeah.
The Lions,
I still can't believe that happened. But anyway, those last 2 games were not good for him. But along the way, he had a couple of games that weren't good, like the Jacksonville game, and they ended up winning that game. But I think he threw like 3 interceptions and didn't throw a touchdown. So he's allowed to have a bad game here and there, but I just think that people are going to too much of an extreme. Oh, those last 2 games, that's who he was with the Jets and with Carolina and San Francisco to some extent. So, yeah, I think he is one of the reasons why they will go to the playoffs, and I think a lot of people are thinking he's one of the reasons why they won't, and they won't win 8 games. So, yeah, to me, I think Sam Darnold is a big part of it, obviously, quarterback, but I think this is going to be a very interesting like I said, there's not a lot of time, man. They start camp on July 23rd. The last game in Green Bay is August 23rd. I mean, they've got to get this thing going, and I think they will. But I just think that's one thing. I'm kind of approaching it from a negative way. I think a lot of people are discounting this team because of that. But I'm going to say because of him, that's my number 2 reason they're going to make the playoffs.
And here was Mike McDonald last month at minicamp, the last time the Seahawks have all been on the field together, on what he's seen out of Sam Darnold so far in this new Seahawks offense.
Yeah, Sam's doing a great job. Sam is a great feel for the offense right now in terms of like growing every day. So you can feel the growth, you can feel the improvement, the confidence that we're doing on that side of the ball and that we're growing. And it's exciting to work with. He's a heck of a competitor. And, this time of the year, it's hard with all the competition periods. You're trying to create a bunch of situations where there's technically a winner or a loser, but you're really trying to just get great situational work where you're making great decisions. And we're doing that on both sides. But those are fun periods to, when you feel his competitiveness, and really all 3 quarterbacks, you feel their competitiveness and just the sense of improvement every day.
You and Bob got a chance to meet him, right?
Yeah.
Talk to Sam Darnold.
We watched some playoff basketball together.
Yeah. Nice guy.
Good friend of Adam Ray's.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
is everyone.
Adams. Yeah. I just watched the 10 questions for Cal Raleigh from Adam Ray. So that guy's everywhere, man.
He is.
Yeah.
He got us Jeremy Piven in here.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, I mean, I think it's the other thing I was going to mention is that during the OTAs, remember there was the big thing, he threw 2 interceptions in this drill and everything. I'm like, oh my God, come on. It's practice. And, I also saw Drew Lock look really, really good. So, and that's great. And, certainly not taking anything away from Drew Lock, but it's practice, and so a lot of people overreact. So I think there's going to be a lot of overreaction about Sam Darnold. So Bob's number 2.
I'm playing the role of Bob, and his number 2 kind of goes hand in hand with yours, and it, I guess, kind of expands on that not just Sam Darnold, but Clint Kubiak and his entire impact on the offense. So whether that is Darnold or, I think more importantly, the offensive line and how we've talked about it, and Mark Schlereth has come on, and he's broken down for you guys the importance of an offensive coordinator who understands the offensive line, who can call plays or who can design things to help out that offensive line. And it sounds like not just Kubiak, the staff he's brought in around him can do that. Yeah. That with this scheme, they're going to help alleviate some of those issues of drop back and pass, put all that strain on the offensive line. So this was Kubiak during OTAs explaining his goal for the offensive line.
We're really trying to be great teachers and install a basic system, trying to put in a zone run game and put in a new language. We're trying to get guys all speaking the same language and using precise words precisely, and learning a new cadence. I mean, every day is the first day, these first 5 installs, so we're just doing a lot of teaching and we're correcting the film.
Yeah, they do a lot of correcting on the field.
You pointed that before.
Yeah, difference from between Mike McDonald. I mean, he wants to do it right there. And I think Pete's thing, and look, nobody's wrong. Obviously, Pete has had tremendous success the way he's run practice over the years. I mean, there's no debate there. But he wanted to get lots of reps, and then we'll correct it in the film room. And, the only thing I'd say about that is a lot of times you don't get to a lot of the things in film because it gets to be such a long, you're an hour and a half in meetings watching film and stuff. But those guys do it on the field. And there was a stat Dave Pearson told me, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like once they got to like 2 weeks, I think last year in camp, it was something to this effect that they had been on the field like 20 hours longer than they were.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's not like every day, obviously, but like some days are, they're out there maybe 30 to 45 minutes longer, hour. And again, it's just a philosophy. But, yeah, I kind of like it, and I like watching all of the stuff that goes, all the teaching that goes on out there on the field. It's fun to watch practice.
Yeah, we'll see it starting on Wednesday. First practice of training camp, and it's open to the public. First practice at 1 o'clock, so we'll be out there. All the public will be out there as well, and then as you were giving those dates, it gets right up into the first preseason game in mid-August, and then all of a sudden the season will be here before you know it. So with this Seahawks team, though, these position group rankings are out. We just discussed the last one that came out today, the cornerbacks, but the totality of them kind of paints a tougher picture about the Seahawks than maybe we realize until you see it laid out in full compared to other teams around the league. So we'll dig into that coming up next here on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
He called it 20 years ago.
I'm the home run derby champ.
And as he always does, the Big Dumper delivered.
The Big Dumper is your home run derby champion.
Congratulations, Cal Raleigh.
I just can't believe it won. It's unbelievable.
We can't wait for the second half of the Season of Cal on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
What'd you say? What'd you say? I'm the man. I'm the man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Walking away from an interaction with a customer that says, I can't believe how easy this was. I can't thank you enough for helping me.
Our strategy with pricing is not to be the highest price and not to be the lowest price, but to be a really good price and to provide a really good experience to the customer.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff. It was just really sweet. It felt like we were truly helping.
Receiving a handwritten letter that's personalized to a salesperson or a service advisor or a technician expressing gratitude, and then taking that home and sharing that with your family, hanging that on your refrigerator, that's the difference.
You hear it from one person, and then another, and another. You come to realize it's not a script, it's a belief. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed all in. Plus get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees are or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Dave, we've talked about the ESPN position group rankings, their top 10 lists at every position. And it turns out when you look at the right one, it helps a lot more. But that final one came out today. It was a cornerback, and Devin Witherspoon was the 10th ranked cornerback. So now all 11 are out, and you look around and looking at all these 11, well, only 3 Seahawks crack the respective top 10s.
Right.
And I don't think it's too surprising to narrow in on what side of the ball that occurred on. So all 3 came on defense. Leonard Williams was the number 6 defensive tackle. Devin Witherspoon, 10th best cornerback, and then Julian Love, the number 10 safety. So executives and front office types and people around the league who Jeremy Fowler surveyed, and it's a very comprehensive process to do that. Brady Henderson can weigh in on this as well because he kind of knows all the behind the scenes of this process. He's going to join us at 4 o'clock. But in all of this, the consensus is the Seahawks only have 3 guys and all on defense that are top 10 best at their respective positions.
Yeah, and Leonard Williams at number 6. That's the highest ranking that anybody on the team got. So, I'm not terribly surprised by this because you look at offensive line, you look at quarterback, running back. I understand, because we were talking about. I think Charbonnet had one really, really good game. And then, there was some good stuff. I'm not saying that our running backs are bad, but if you look around the rest of the NFL, I can understand it. We don't really have a tight end, right now. So we'll see. I mean, people are going to certainly develop into that. But, O-line, you mentioned that Charles Cross got like a shout out, right? But I can totally understand all of this. So I think there might be an argument maybe of JSN being one of the top wide receivers. But other than that, I pretty much get it, right? Yeah. Because, look, this was a number 2 or number 3 defense by the end of the year. So you can understand why 3 players from defense are the only ones that made it. But And there's a lot of turnover and everything going on with the Seahawks, especially with the new offense. So I can understand why they wouldn't want to select guys that are going to be, coming into something new and something they don't really, especially Sam Darnold, a guy like that. So, yeah, I mean, I get it, but I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised by this.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Is this more your optimism, and you and Bob as well, because obviously we've talked about the series you guys put out, that 5 reasons they'll make the playoffs. So going in with that optimism and then seeing, well, all right, at least superstar-wise, the Seahawks maybe can't compare with a team like the Eagles or Chiefs who have been in those Super Bowls recently, or the Ravens, or the Lions who are chock full of stars at a lot of these positions. Is this where you guys are optimistic that the team itself, that all these good players give the Seahawks a better floor to work with, to kind of start off from, than some of these other teams that might be a little more boom or bust? Where, I think of the Niners, they were loaded on these lists last year going into the start of this 2024 season. And Brady and I do remember we were filling in one day and we kind of talked about the disparity, but then the Niners completely bottomed out because you have 1 or 2 guys get hurt. They had nothing behind it. So for the Seahawks, do you feel that, all right, they have a good overall team despite not having a lot of superstar caliber players, at least according to some of these rankings?
Yeah, and part of the team is John Schneider, and part of the team is Mike McDonald, and and that's kind of what you're betting on when you go into this season, because John has always done a good job. He's always done a good job drafting and putting together a playoff team. They weren't last year, but they did win double digits the first year of a new coach coming in. So I thought that was great. And then, you look at the offense and how it's new. Clint Kubiak is a guy that I feel like he has a proven track record. So that's kind of that's sort of the inside story I think people here in Seattle get, that the people in the national or ESPN or whoever is making the selections don't really see. So I think it's all that built into it. But yeah, I mean, I think, obviously we're very close to it, and, Bob and I are kind of looking at each other, and you too, Mike, where we're like, are we drinking the Kool-Aid? But I feel like the direction that they're going in, and also the decisiveness of Mike McDonald I brought this up many times. They turned that defense around in the middle of the year because John and Mike got together and made a pretty drastic move, as far as getting their inside backers the right. Getting them right. And then I thought it was a pretty drastic move, firing Grubb. I thought they'd wait, give him another year. I love what they did, and I like that they're just very decisive. So I think that's something also that, that should get some credit. The combination of John Schneider and Mike McDonald, I think, is a big part of it.
And I will say, going on that note, that if we're sitting here at this time next year and the Seahawks have made the playoffs, then you're probably talking about some of these guys on these top 10 lists, whereas Ernest Jones gets a receiving votes in the linebacker category. And really, he only got that based on, 11 games of production? Because he didn't do much to stand out before the Seahawks. So the resurgence that he had with the Seahawks to play consistently, to really revitalize that defense, all right, well, if he's getting receiving votes then, what does a full season look like? Where a couple days ago, we talked about the fact that now he's healthy.
Yeah, we didn't even know he
with
wasn't
an injured
healthy.
knee. So, okay, if Ernest Jones is playing fully healthy and in a full season and with an entire offseason to work in this Mike McDonald defense, it's easy to kind of project forward and say, well, he's probably on this list next year. That you're talking about him as a top 10 linebacker in the NFL based on everything we just laid out there. And perhaps that is the same for some of these other position groups.
Well, and especially offensive line and running back. I mean, I think those two they've got to get a running game going. Were they 28th, I think, or 29th as far as running the ball last year, average per game? And yeah, just something you have to do. And they're going very old school about it. They got a fullback now, and with Robbie Oots. And yeah, I think that'll be really interesting to see, how they line up. They're going. Sounds like they're going to use a lot of tight ends, and it's going to be more of like an old school type of offense. But I mean, it's proven. It's the whole Shanahan tree. I mean, with Kubiak, and again, I mentioned this yesterday. They brought in Rick Dennison, who is a guy that has been with Gary Kubiak, Clint's dad, for a long time, and they've won like 3 Super Bowls together. So this is a proven scheme that they're running. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be a big surprise to a lot of people.
I will say, I bet Charles Cross is on this top 10 next year.
Yeah.
Based on all of that and everything that you just laid out there, putting the O-line in a better position to succeed, that Charles Cross essentially it's kind of a contract year because he had that 5th-year option extended, but he's also playing for a long-term deal, and he can get some more leverage based on how he does this year. So I think Charles Cross, you hope he cracks that list, and then maybe a guy like Ernest Jones, and we'll see what JSN can do. But I would not be surprised if a few more Seahawks are on these top 10s and not just receiving votes next season. But a guy who can help us with that, we'll get some more insight on these top 10 lists, on the second round, holdout situations, and everything else that Brady Henderson expects out of Seahawks training camp. ESPN's Brady Henderson joins us next here on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The clack of the cleats, the sounds of summer drifting off Lake Washington.
Green 18.
These sounds of summer are the prelude to the symphony of fall and winter. Football season is coming. Just 6 days until Seahawks training camp begins.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Bump letting you know the Employee Pricing Plus event is on at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Get the 2025 Ram 2500 for $9,000 off MSRP. Subject to credit approval. Offer ends July 31st. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
It's the garage here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inner Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com, that's PremierGolfCenters.com, and book your tee time today.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Cool cars.
cool people, good times. The Good Guys 37th Griot's Garage Pacific Northwest Nationals presented by Wicked Fabrication. All this weekend at the Washington State Fair Events Center. Over 2,500 classics. An earth-shaking Nitro Thunderfest. Tire-smoking burnout competition. And don't miss Good Guys Friday night vintage drags at Pacific Raceways in Kent. All this weekend at the Washington State Fair Events Center in Puyallup. Details at good-guys.com.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
12s, it's go time. Seahawks training camp powered by Boeing kicks off July 23rd through August 12th at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. Join us lakeside for a first look at your 2025 Seahawks as they put in work and gear up for a milestone 50th season. Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Seahawks and Bucks announced that both teams will wear their throwback uniforms on October 5th when Tampa comes to Lumen Field, and both teams are celebrating their 50th season in the NFL. Meanwhile, Rowdy Tellez had his contract selected from the Rangers AAA affiliate. The former Mariner will be on Texas's big league club when the Rangers host the Tigers tomorrow. And the Steelers and TJ Watt have agreed to a 3-year, $123 million extension with $108 million guaranteed.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman here with you today. We are getting very close, less than a week away from the start of Seahawks training camp. So why not bring this guy on to help us break down everything we need to know about the Seahawks heading into the season. ESPN's Brady Henderson joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Brady, how's it going? Does it feel like summer's over? Like you're going back to school now soon?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going to avoid, the whole woe is me, like, oh, my summer ends. But yeah, in some respect, it is kind of like that for NFL reporters because, you get kind of that nice little break between the end of minicamp and the start of training camp, which is, 5 or 6 weeks. And then you get back to the work of, the grind of covering training camp. But I say it's a grind to cover it as though, players aren't out there grinding a million times harder than we are and putting their bodies on the line and everything. So, yeah, it does feel like that way, but it still is the best job in the world, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh, my God. Thank you, Brady. I needed that pep talk right there.
Yeah, Dave gets
it's not like we're out digging ditches, right? I mean, hey, that's a good way to put it. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, we get to watch football for a living. How nice is that?
That is, it's great.
It's
great.
It's going to be a lot of fun out there. Brady, the one big kind of sticking point, I guess, or the one issue right now, if you will, and you noted this a couple days ago, the second-round picks and the Seahawks' 2 second-round picks, Nicky Manwari and Elijah Arroyo, with all these second-round picks kind of wanting various guarantees because of the 2 first picks in those second rounds getting the guarantees. What do you see happening here? I know we've seen some more contracts trickle in now, but what do you see happening here with these Seahawks second-round picks?
Yeah, the deals are going to get done. This is not something that I think is going to lead to either of those guys missing extensive time during training camp, certainly not games. I'm not reporting that. That's just my read on it, looking at the situation logically. And just to, inform everybody listening of what's going on in case they aren't familiar with it. So this is, the reason why you've only seen, 6 second-round picks from the most recent drafts sign their rookie contracts is because there's been a big holdup over the amount of those contracts that is fully guaranteed. And really why this all started was because Jaden Higgins, the receiver drafted with the second pick of the second round by Houston, he got a fully guaranteed 100% of the contract was fully guaranteed by Houston, which was unprecedented. So naturally, everybody behind him is going to try to do the same thing. And even the guy drafted 33rd overall with the first pick, Carson Swessinger, and then he then got his deal fully guaranteed. So, typically that doesn't happen for second-round picks. You get a good percentage of the contract is guaranteed. And, usually the next guy picked sort of gets a little bit less than that, and then you go kind of down from there, with each guy getting a little bit less of that fourth year fully guaranteed. And so, once Jaden Higgins got the deal fully guaranteed, well, everybody else is going to try to get the same thing. And so that is kind of in the holdup. But you have seen some movement over the last couple of days. I think it was, 4 other second-round picks since yesterday, I think, have gotten those deals signed. So I would think that would help, grease the wheels for the Arroyo getting signed because he's the 50th overall pick. It may, still could take a while for Nick Emanwari at 35 because, he's the highest drafted second-round pick who has still not signed. So, you're probably going to be a lot of people waiting on him to see what he gets. And then, 36, 37, 38, 39, so on, go from there.
Hey, Brady, who's the most intriguing rookie? Because, we're talking about second-rounders here, and the more I look at it, I'm thinking Elijah Arroyo is really intriguing to me just because, they haven't had a great tight end in years. I like Barner. I really like Barner, but Arroyo seems to me he's kind of intriguing from the standpoint of I'm not sure about his blocking, but John has said that they think they can use him as an X. So I think that's really interesting, especially considering his speed and everything. But who's somebody that you're really curious to get your eyes on at camp as far as the rookies go?
I'm not just saying this for the sake of agreeing with you, Dave, but Arroyo would be my pick as well. I mean, we've talked, and I'm sure you guys know it very well from being out at practice yourself, but the combination of size and speed is really what makes him intriguing. I think the other part of that, what also makes him intriguing is, and we've talked about this too, but I think how he performs during training camp could influence what happens with Noah Fant. And we all know about Noah Fant's contract situation and about how the money they owe him, he hasn't quite lived up to that contract in terms of his production. Certainly a very talented player, but I do think that, because he's making quite a bit of money in the final year of his deal, and because the production hasn't really matched up with that, and because they just spent the second-round pick on another tight end with a very similar skill set. Remember when they drafted him, Daniel Jeremiah said, the NFL player comp for Elijah Arroyo was Noah Fant as a big guy, with 4 or 5-ish speed. And so, so Arroyo is intriguing on his own, but I think he's also intriguing because the better he looks in training camp and the more ready he appears to be to step into a pretty big role as a rookie right away, I think that makes me wonder about what's going to happen with Noah Fant.
Hey, Brady, the other day, Dave and I were doing kind of a little exercise with this 2022 draft class because now they're all entering those final years, their rookie deals coming up. And we did something where, okay, first, would you sign this guy to an extension at all? And then, all right, well, out of guys you're signing to an extension, who would you want to see locked up before the season, and, before they risk playing out their contract and maybe lose them in free agency? For you, is there anyone that jumps out to you of, okay, they should try to get a deal done before this season? And if it is, who would that be? Or are these guys ones that you might have to wait and see and let them play out the final year of this deal?
The name that I'll give you is maybe one that is going to be some level of surprise perhaps, but it's Kobe Bryant. And I know he may not be on, the radar of a lot of people, certainly compared to Charles Cross. He's their starting left tackle, and they already picked up the 5th-year option. So you figure they're eventually going to try to get something done there. I don't get the sense that anything is imminent with Charles Cross, but if he's the most obvious candidate from that group of that 2022 draft class, I think Kobe Bryant is maybe a little less obvious just because he only became their starting safety midway through last season, and they obviously spent a second-round pick on Nick Emanwari, a pretty high one too, and they traded up 17 spots to get him. But I would not be surprised if they get a deal done with Kobe Bryant. Now, you wouldn't be talking about a huge deal, you would sort of be buying low on a guy who, has kind of had, I guess we'll call it a nomadic start to his career. Remember, he was a college cornerback, played nickelback as a rookie, sort of got usurped in that role by Devin Witherspoon in 2023, and he battled injuries that season. And then remember, he wasn't a starter until, midway through, week 7 of last year, and then he really took off. So, he probably doesn't have the resume to command this massive deal right now. But if you're the Seahawks, I could see them looking at that situation and saying, okay, this is an opportunity to, kind of buy low on a guy, figuring that with the trajectory he's on, he might really pop this year. And compared to if you were to wait to try to sign him next year, if he has the year that maybe they think he could have this year, now all of a sudden that price goes up to, sort of like Julian Love territory or maybe beyond that. So it wouldn't, right now, it wouldn't be a big deal. You'd probably be looking at like a 3-year deal for, I don't know, say $7 million or so a year. But the thinking, if that is what they do, the thinking would be that, that's a lot cheaper than what it might cost if you try to give him a new deal next year.
Another guy I think is going to be really interesting. You mentioned him, Riq Woolen. Just, that I'm trying to remember how that went last year. I think he got benched for the first couple series against Arizona, I believe it was. But there were some problems with him as far as like his focus and really I think the thing that can help him the most is coaching. And it sounds like Mike Macdonald has a lot of faith in him. I mean, he's said a lot of very glowing, a lot of glowing praise for Riq Woolen, in particular when he picked that over route off last year, and he's like, hey, has anybody ever seen that happen before? I mean, he loves him, but there's also, it seems like maybe a little bit of a focus thing, which I think, man, if I'm going to bet on anything as far as Riq Woolen's career goes, it's going to be the investment that Mike Macdonald puts in him, and as far as the coaching and getting him to focus and things like that. Is that kind of how that went down? I'm trying to remember, first of all, with Riq Woolen and how he kind of got in the doghouse a little bit, but then just, it seems like when Mike Macdonald talks about him, he loves him and thinks, he's got all the ability in the world, but it's just more about just getting dialed in.
Yeah, I can't remember what game it was last year, but you're right. He was he was
No, he didn't want to answer the question.
Yeah.
See, what did you put him on the spot like that?
I think it was, it was the Arizona game.
Yeah.
Because remember, Trey Brown got in and gave up a touchdown. And I think he had a penalty or something too. But yeah, and it was like, well, wait a minute, why is he in there and why isn't it Riq Woolen? So I think it was that Arizona game. But yeah, I mean, it was just, to me, it was very encouraging reading the things that Mike Macdonald was saying about him, because he's like, he needs to do this and he needs to do that. And, you see him out there. I saw him out there last year coaching the linebackers up, and just the things that he was saying. I mean, he's not just a head coach. I mean, he's a defensive specialist. So, yeah, that makes me feel a lot better about Riq Woolen anyway, that Mike Macdonald is investing in him, and I guess we got you back.
Brady,
right,
we thought you just didn't want to answer his question.
Yeah,
but
no, you guys, this is embarrassing. This is how much of a Luddite I am. So I got another call. My girlfriend was calling on the other line, and I tried to hang up on her call, and then I ended up answering her call, and she's hearing 5 seconds of my Riq Woolen answer before I realized what's going on. So yes, Dave, you're right. There was I think a game at some point last season where he was benched for, I think it was the first series or two, and Mike Macdonald he didn't tell us what it was that Woolen did, but he made it clear that it was a disciplinary issue. And I think there's a lot of ways you can discipline players, and you can keep that behind closed doors. I always looked at that as a situation where, if they were willing to have that out in public, to me that seemed like it had got to a point where they no longer felt like just handling it behind closed doors was enough. And so I sort of looked at that as context for the situation. But, you talked about, Mike Macdonald's investment in him, maybe being key for him this season. I would think that the carrot of free agency next year would also, get a guy, to lock in as much as ever. And I do think he is headed towards free agency. I have not gotten the sense, and I'm not reporting this based on, I'm not saying this as a report. I'm just, again, my read on the situation, kind of my prediction is that, he's not a guy that they're looking to extend right now. And so, yeah, you would think that, the prospect of becoming a free agent, at however old he is, 25, 26, with a Pro Bowl on your resume, at least one Pro Bowl on your resume, and, 4 years in a starting role with his, skill set, you would think that, there could be teams, willing to give him a whole lot of money next off season. And so you would think that, if anything, that would be enough to get a guy to, really, really focus going into a contract year.
ESPN's Brady Henderson with us here on Wyman and Bob. And Brady, as we roll into training camp beginning next week here, are there really any position battles you're looking at outside of right guard jumps out? Anything else that kind of stands out as, all right, these are the position battles I'm going to be watching heading into the season?
Yeah, right guard is really the one that I'm going to be focused the most on. And it was, I won't spend too much time talking about right guards because that's probably not what Joe Blow driving down I-5 wants to hear about. But, I will tell you that, we saw during the, handful of practices that we were able to watch over the spring, it was mainly Anthony Bradford and Christian Haynes there. In the mix. And I do think, and Mike McDonald more or less said this, that it's not just a two-man race. So I think you're going to see Satawa Laumea get involved in that. Maybe, who knows, maybe even Bryce Cable do, the sixth-round pick. But remember, Laumea started the final 6 games at right guard last season. And, I can't tell you exactly how well he played because, I probably would be out over my skis trying to do that. But, I know that position was kind of in flux, and they were going back and forth between Bradford and Haynes, and then they finally got some stability there with Laumea. So I think he played well enough to at least have a role in that competition. And the other thing I would say is, Bradford, the initial thought that I had, and I'm sure a lot of people had, as soon as we found out that they hired Clint Kubiak, was, I didn't think that was necessarily good news for Bradford because we know he is a massive, massive, powerful guy that, you don't think of that style of player necessarily being a great fit for an outside zone blocking scheme, which, that really kind of prioritizes athleticism and the ability to fire off the ball and get out in space for offensive linemen. But, Bradford, again, he was the guy who was seemed to be the lead dog at that spot for the, few practices we saw. And Mike McDonald also did make a comment about, I think the phrase he used was his body composition being improved, which is a fancy way, I think, of saying he's in better shape than he was. So maybe a little bit trimmer Bradford, if that is the case, and he looked like it when I saw him. He did look a little bit trimmer than he was. I think that's probably, I'm guessing he did that knowing that, this blocking scheme is going to require him to be a little more nimble than he has been in the past.
Yeah, I think that's what Shannon says to me about something about improving my body composition instead of you need to lose 30 pounds. Yeah, it's
it's the PC way of saying it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's funny you talk about that. I talked to somebody out at the Seahawks that would know, and I asked specifically, is Bradford built for this type of offense? And he said, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of thought the same thing, but yeah, that's certainly motivation for him, right? To lose some weight, and you get quicker. I mean, when you're in your 20s and 30s, I mean, 30 pounds will knock a couple of ticks off of your 40, and yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting. But as far as what you've heard, Brady, from, and I think these are the main 4, and I think on offense the only ones, but I could be wrong. Clint Kubiak. Andrew Janoko is the new quarterback coach. You got John Benton coaching the offensive line, and then you brought in Rick Dennison as your run game coordinator. And as far as those 4 guys, Brady, what have you heard? Is there anything that stands out that you've heard from those guys that either makes sense or is drastically different from what they were doing last year, or just something that impressed you that you heard from any of that group of new coaches?
Yeah, I heard. I think I've maybe mentioned this before. On your station, just that John Benton, he is kind of your classic old school offensive line coach, gruff and surly and very direct and to the point. And it's great being out at the Seahawks practices under Mike McDonald because he doesn't have music blaring, and you can really hear how coaches are coaching and what players are saying and yelling at each other. And, that was one thing that I noticed watching practice is, John Benton is a no-nonsense kind of guy. And, I say this not at all to say that, the offensive line coach last season was the problem. I think a lot of their problems really stemmed from Ryan Grubb. And, I don't know if they had the most talented group, certainly, but I don't think that Ryan Grubb put that group in the best positions to succeed. And, what also was interesting about the makeup of the offensive staff last year is typically when a team hires a new coordinator, you really empower that coordinator and you try to make that, that transition to that new offense as seamless as possible by giving him a few of his guys, letting him bring in a few of his assistants. And for whatever reason, that wasn't the case last season. And, there's also an argument to be made that you don't want guys just, hiring everybody that they know, and you want to hire the best teachers. But, Scott Huff was really the only offensive assistant that Ryan Grubb brought with him. And, one of the, I'll say, internal criticisms of Grubb last season was he wasn't really, he sort of tried to be everything. He tried to be the quarterback's coach, tried to be, all these different, offensive assistant coaches. He wasn't really willing to delegate like you sort of need to do to some degree in that role. And, when I look at all those Kubiak assistants that you mentioned, John Benton, Andrew Janocko, Justin Outen, Rick Dennison, a lot of those guys have been with Kubiak at various stops for a long time. And if Clint Kubiak is, if he's a micromanager and he's not letting coaches coach and he's breathing down their neck all the time, I don't think he'd have as many of those acolytes as he has that have followed him as many places as they've gone. And so I think that is, for better or worse, that's going to be one change is that, Kubiak, I think, is a guy who, unlike his predecessor, is willing to delegate and let his assistants coach.
Brady, great stuff. Appreciate the time. I have to say, though, don't sell your offensive line prowess short. We got a text from a 360 area code that said, bro, give me more right guard talk. So they wanted to hear you go on and on about this offensive line.
That's right.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that. But I also, said I wasn't going to give you 5 minutes on the right guard competition. And I think I gave you like a solid 2 or 3 there. So there you go.
No, it was great.
Guards are important again, man.
They are important.
They're important.
They're getting paid well, as we saw at Trey Smith. So, Brady, thanks. We appreciate it. And we'll see you out there at training camp next week.
All right, fellas. Thanks for having me. See ya.
Thanks, Brady.
All right, ESPN's Brady Henderson, who I guess we can put on the record now. He hangs up on his girlfriend to do an interview with us. I mean, he admitted it. I didn't say it. So, bold decision by Brady, but good for him. We appreciate him making that sacrifice to give us Seahawks insight.
I'm going to have a talk with Brady about his priority list.
Yeah, you got to hang up and end the interview with us.
Lefko and Wyman versus girlfriend.
And Matt Nelson. He answered Matt Nelson's call. It's over his girlfriend, so I don't.
Yeah, you know what? I got to apologize. I forgot about Justin Outen, and that's another guy that was one of the coaches that they brought in, run game specialist, assistant, offensive line type of guy. But that's 5 guys, 5 new coaches that are coming in. So I think that's going to be, and we'll get to our number one reasons tomorrow as far as that the Seahawks will make the playoffs. But it's also mine had a little bit of a flair of like, I can understand why this is why people don't think the Seahawks are going to make the playoffs, kind of. So, and yeah, I think these guys are going to be able to, this is a proven system. Like I said, Rick Dennison and Gary Kubiak, Clint's dad, won Super Bowls with this offense. So I think it's going to really stand out. And the fact we talked earlier about how much time they spend down on the field just coaching and teaching and everything. And, like Brady, I like the offensive line coach, John Benton. He's kind of an old school guy. You hear him out there.
Someone thought he looked like you or you looked like him. I didn't get that one.
That was really dumb, whatever that was. But, yeah. You don't want to poor John Benton. Hey, he's been 33 years in the NFL. That's unbelievable. But I think listening to him out there was one time where I told this story before, but I got to say it again. I'm walking by and he's like, coaching guys, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. And then he's like, that's not even close. And I'm like, oh, I like this, man. That's what my coach is. Like Joe Max Sellers, who came to my house last night, my high school football coach, kind of sound like that. But, I mean, look, it's nothing personal. It's just that, hey, it's urgent. We got to get this down. And so, yeah, you never know what kind of an effect a coach is going to have on you. When I went to Denver, the guy, his name was John Paul Young. And he was a very old school guy. And in the beginning, I was like, I'm not clicking with this guy. We're not. But then by the time we got into the season and about my third game, he would just turn to me and go, coach me. And I would tell him exactly what I did wrong. And that's our relationship that we had. So you never know what kind of a relationship you're going to build with a coach, or is he going to communicate the right way? And, it doesn't take that long, especially if you're a veteran, to get used to a guy's ways that he coaches. And like I said, probably by the beginning of the season, I was good with him. We were fine. We understood each other perfectly. I knew what was wrong. I knew what was right. And that's really what it's all about. So that'll be interesting to watch that develop out over, the few weeks out in camp.
Well, one position we didn't talk about with Brady does in fact represent the biggest potential for either success or a difficult season for the Seahawks. So we'll dive into that position up next on Wyman and Bob here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passett with Brock and Salk.
As we dig into the Julio Rodriguez week-to-week conversation, what stands out now?
You want to see, when it's prime time, how is this guy going to handle it? How is he going to react? What is he going to be? And we know he wants to be the guy. We know he wants to be in the center of everything, but we need to see it. Show us what you got.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Are you still using allergy pills and sprays to treat your allergy attacks? I'm Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. Nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, snoring, facial pain are just a few of the sinus symptoms we can help you out with. From allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced outpatient balloon sinuplasty, we can diagnose and treat your problems. Let us help you get relief, easily, quickly, and permanently. Find us in Federal Way or Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
All right, Takis fans. Wendy's knows you love your Takis Fuego chips. So we thought, why not make a Takis Fuego meal with a Takis Fuego chicken sandwich with spicy chicken topped with crushed Takis Fuego chips and creamy corn spread. Plus, it comes with Fuego fries inspired by Takis and a bag of Takis Fuego chips. If we had any more heat, we might start an actual... I told him this would happen. For an intense new take on Takis chips, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Includes 1 ounce Takis Fuego chips while supplies last. Takis and Fuego trademarks are used under license.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailalarm.com today.
G. Scott here to talk about Sunbucks, a SNAP program that provides free, healthy food when school is out. If you could use the help, simply fill out the form online to determine eligibility for $120 of free food per child. If families had cards last year, they have been replenished. If families need new cards, they can call the Sunbucks call center. This message is presented by Safeway, where customers can use SNAP to save on produce and shop online. Visit hungerfreewa.org/summer EBT.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
It's the Garage here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inner Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com, that's PremierGolfCenters.com, and book your tee time today.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays, 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We might have a slight issue, Dave. I think we upset one of our go-to regular, tried-and-true players on this show. As 425 points out, he says Joe Schmagegi won't be happy about Brady using Joe Blow as the designated rando.
That's become kind of a staple here,
yeah.
the Joe Schmagegi thing.
Schmagegi's versatile, too. He's really good.
Have people tried to spell that?
Yes, this guy did.
S-C-H-M-E.
No, he went A. Is that wrong?
Schma?
In our made-up
I thought it was
spelling of
E.
Schmagegi. Yeah. So he went he or she, 425 area code goes S-C-H-M-A-G-E-G-G-E.
Seems like a lot of G's.
I like the G's at the end there. I think you would go E over A there. Schmagegi. Not Schmagegi.
So a random name thing is a phrase that I used to use all the time, and it was from a linebacker at Stanford that I got, but I can't say it on the air. So
now Joe Schmo seems to be a common one too.
It's something McGee.
Yeah. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and I it's male body part McGee, and it was just like random guy. Yeah, blank McGee over here. You know, it was just like something that got. And I almost said it on the air once. I think I might have actually. And I remember Bob looking around like, what did he just say? But we're going with Joe Schmagegi. It's clean. And that's the official. No more Joe Blow.
We'll let Brady.
You got to
know.
tell Brady no.
Yeah, okay. That's our
no
fault.
way on that one.
Our fault. Big miss by Brady there. We're a Schmagegi show. Other shows might be a Joe Blow. We're a Joe Schmagegi show here. Speaking of Joes, and actually a real Joe, Joe Buck was on with Brock and Salk this morning, and you pointed this out, Dave, that there are two very polarizing opinions about Sam Darnold, and that seems to be the consensus. No matter who you talk to, you look at Sam Darnold one of two ways. You don't look at him as, all right, well, I'm a little ambivalent about him. It's either you strongly feel like he's the guy, or because of those two games at the end of his season with the Vikings, that he's going to be a liability. So two very different perspectives on just one show this morning with Joe Buck and Joel Klatt. And here was Joe Buck, first of all, giving his breakdown of Sam Darnold.
I think he's really mentally tough to have gone through what he went through with the Jets, and the expectations and the failure, if you want to put it on him, which I don't. It's obviously, as you guys well know, it's a team game, and it's not a one-person thing, but the wins and losses go on the head coach's record and the GM's record and the quarterback's record. And so you got to wear that around. I think he's really strong. I think his year in San Francisco was huge for him, backing up out there and working with Kyle Shanahan, who's as good as there is as an offensive teacher and schemer. And then I think being with Kevin O'Connell, who absolutely adored him.
So positive, seems pretty positive perception of Sam Darnold. But then Joel Klatt, decidedly not really high on Darnold.
That's probably right. Both of those guys have to have a lot of things around them work well for them to be at their best. I think that I would have easily put Darnold in that top 10, the top 18, save for how it finished. That's what I'm nervous about, is like, It was a reverting back to the guy that in the clip said, "I'm seeing ghosts." Like that the end of the year for Minnesota and Sam Darnold is a bit alarming for me. I think he needs a lot of things to go right. I think that they're going to be better on defense, guys. I would imagine that they're going to be better on defense, and we'll see how well Sam can play. I hope he plays well. When he's playing free and confident, he's a really good player. And I think you saw that at times during the season last year.
I think what he said there, Joel Klatt, that's exactly what I've described as why people think the Seahawks aren't going to the playoffs and why Sam Darnold wasn't a good move, because that's exactly what I thought about at first, was those two games at the end of the season, and then bringing up the whole specter of, I'm seeing ghosts out there. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what most people are thinking. But I like much more what Joe Buck talked about, and I thought it was interesting that he brought up, he started in one game in San Francisco, and he brought up that experience with Clint Kubiak and the Shanahan system and everything, and how valuable that was. So, and then obviously when he got to Minnesota, Kevin O'Connell loved him, as he said, and I think that's enough right there. I mean, I get that those last two games, but I think that everybody thinks that because of that he's just going to automatically go back to who he was with the Jets. Look, he's going to have some bad games. We saw it. I mean, we looked at there were some games last year. He had some really good games, like up here in Seattle beating us. But he also had a game against Jacksonville where he didn't throw any touchdowns, and he threw some picks, and they still won the game. So yeah, it's going to happen with him. But I just think that it's more about what Joe Buck was talking about than it is what Joel Klatt was talking about. So, but look, everybody's going to have, and maybe I'll be wrong at the end of the year. And I know I'm not sure if you feel that same way as Bob and I, but I feel like that's the guy that he's going to be. But I guess I totally understand why people are like those last two games, and then you got your play-by-play guy screaming at you, he's holding on to the ball. I mean, there was a lot of things that brought back all of those bad memories.
Well, because of that, and because it was two high-profile, prominent games, and it did come at the end of the season, like you were saying, I think Sam Darnold's under the most pressure of any quarterback in the NFL to get off to a fast start.
Yeah.
He has to get off to a good start because of his contract situation, because of the perception that's hanging over him. And I was going down all these quarterbacks trying to think, is there any quarterback under more pressure than Sam Darnold at the start of this year? We know the financial details, that it's essentially a one-year commitment. I was looking at all these other quarterbacks that maybe are very well paid and have pressure on them to win, like a Dak Prescott or a Tua, but they're in early years of their massive extensions, so it gets very difficult to untangle yourself from that contract. Like, I was looking through the Cowboys contract with Dak Prescott. Even if he underwhelms again and the Cowboys fail to live up under expectations, you're not getting out of this deal for 3 more years out of this 5-year extension they signed with him. Same with Tua. You have 2 more years left before you could really feasibly get out of this contract. So those guys are there regardless. Sam Darnold, we know it's essentially a 1-year deal. He might not be there after this season. So for me, because of that negative perception we heard from Joel Klatt of those 2 games that linger, and that's the most recent evidence you have on tape about Darnold, he has to get off to a fast start, more than any quarterback this season.
Well, so does our offense.
Offense
has
in general,
to get, yeah, absolutely, and he's going to be obviously a huge key in that. So, yeah, it's lots of pressure, but I think that they're going to be able to handle it. And I think for Sam Darnold, once you sign your contract, you're not thinking about it. I'm sorry, you're just not. And I remember Luke Wilson one time told me, look, every year is a contract year. I mean, everything you put on tape is going to help get you paid or not get you paid. So, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's less for him because of the fact that it's just a 1-year deal. And hey, if it doesn't work out here, I'll go somewhere else. But it's just very. I don't remember being this excited for camp to start. And like Brady said, we get paid to go out there and watch football. I mean, that's pretty cool. But I mean, this one is going to be very interesting. There's lots of different. We talked about Reek Woolen. We talked about the rookie Arroyo, and how interesting that's going to be. This whole Sam Darnold thing, the whole coaching thing. I mean, there is a lot going on out there at Seahawk camp this year.
Yeah, it gets started in less than a week. Practice number 1 of training camp begins Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We'll all be out there for essentially all of training camp. We'll be out there live for our shows. And with training camp getting started around the NFL, there have been some high-profile signings around the league. Now, one kind of went under the radar after the TJ Watt extension news earlier today, but we'll talk about why it might be one of the most important signings of this NFL offseason. That's coming up when we sweep the dial here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The clack of the cleats. The sounds of summer drifting off Lake Washington.
Green 18!
These sounds of summer are the prelude to the symphony of fall and winter. Football season is coming. Just 6 days until Seahawks training camp begins.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman for Swedish Cyberknife, and we had Andy Ryder. He is the mayor of Lacey, but he's also a Swedish Cyberknife patient, and we had him and Dr. Landis from Swedish Cyberknife in studio. It was a few weeks ago, and a couple of things that really stood out having a conversation with those two guys. Number one is treatment. It only takes 5 sessions. And Andy was able to complete treatment in 1 week, Monday through Friday, while continuing to work full-time, and each treatment session lasts less than an hour. So he's able to remain comfortable during the treatment. You can wear your street clothes in. Didn't really experience many side effects other than mentioning he's a little bit tired, but you compare that with other treatment methods where you have surgery or have to have a catheter. I mean, it is night and day with Swedish Cyberknife. Also, it was really cool to see the relationship between Andy and Dr. Landis. Andy holds him in very high regard, and rightfully so. Dr. Landis is a multiple-time recipient of the Seattle Top Doctor Award, and we talk about building a sports team and trying to find stars. Swedish Cyberknife truly has that. It's an all-pro roster of doctors and world-renowned experts in their field, just like Dr. Landis. So Swedish Cyberknife, they treat patients from all over the state, and you don't need a physician referral. You can reach out to them directly. So if you've been diagnosed with prostate cancer, go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
The Mariners are giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners Value Games, score seats for as little as $11 on select dates all season long. Plus, check out the expanded Mariners Value menu and beers available every game. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and nachos for less than $5 and a great selection of brews starting at just $5. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Bump letting you know the Employee Pricing Plus event is on at West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. The 2025 Ram 2500 is a beast with class-leading torque and towing. But don't sleep on the new grille, LED lights, and tech upgrades. On sale now for $9,000 off MSRP. Subject to credit approval. Offer ends July 31st. West Hills Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it!
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Between his hobbies and decades of work in a boatyard, Philip had put his body through a lot.
I'm an avid fly fisherman and an avid skier. It takes its toll.
Not to mention one other thing.
I had a near-fatal motorcycle accident. Absolutely obliterated my lower left leg again.
Philip couldn't live with the pain anymore, so he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
Listening to all these radio spots, I said, what do I got to lose?
What was your experience like with Dr. Wagner?
What I was so impressed with Mark about is that how often you have a surgery like this, and the guy calls you the next day to see how you're doing. I can't say enough good things about the guy, honestly.
And how are you feeling now?
I have no pain, none. 0.
Wow. So would you recommend stem cell therapy to others?
I'm a fan, believe me. I'd recommend it to anybody.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
So the massive deal that TJ Watt just signed today kind of overshadows any recent moves, especially on the defensive side. But yesterday, the Commanders signed Von Miller to a one-year deal. And Kevin Clark of This Is Football was on ESPN today breaking down why the Commanders and Von Miller are a perfect fit in this situation.
This is a really, really good addition. What I would compare it to is when a contender goes out and gets a bit of an aging big man for the playoffs and just say, hey, this guy's going to give us 15, 20 minutes. He's going to play physical. He knows what to do. He's going to give us YMCA moves on some of these young guys and just put some fellas in hell on the low post. It's that kind of move. This is not Von Miller from 2016. It's not Von Miller from 2020. This is a Von Miller you're going to have a plan for him. You have to manage it. But the reason I think it's important, Courtney, and the reason I think it's a good signing is that, as I said, 14% pressure rate, top 5, you turn him loose in the NFC divisional round. You wait and turn him loose in the NFC title game. That's where he's going to make his impact. He is not going to play 50 snaps and rush the passer a bunch in October. That's not why you make this signing.
Trying to squeeze the last bit of talent out of him, right? Yep. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting move. Joining Bobby Wagner out there with the Commanders. You look at their coaching staff, a lot of familiar faces out there, including Cliff Kingsbury. But yeah, it's that guy he's one of those guys that has stayed in great shape throughout his career, and I think he's done a really good job of taking care of himself physically.
You'll be surprised that. Well, maybe you won't be surprised, but I continually get surprised at how you can track almost everything, and there's a stat for everything now. So Next Gen Stats can now track the get-off time, how fast you get off the line of scrimmage at the snap. And apparently Von Miller had the fastest get-off time of any edge rusher last year. That's still in his mid-30s.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, he still can give you something. And as Kevin Clark was breaking down, it's not going to be an every down benefit, but how about a Von Miller coming off the edge in a playoff game where everyone else might be tired and he's fresh because you kind of conserved him throughout the season. So it's going to be interesting for the Commanders, a team that, is coming off the NFC title game appearance.
Sweeping the dial.
I thought this was interesting because we've kind of talked about the changing face of college football and how the NIL era has really catapulted it past any semblance of what you knew growing up and playing in it and what kind of a lot of people have gotten used to. So Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame's head coach, they were just in the national title game last year. He was explaining on ESPN radio how his coaching style has kind of evolved to coach players in this NIL era.
If you would ask me what it would be like before this happened, hey, we're going to compensate our players, what it's going to be like, you might say, it's going to be like the NFL, it's going to be a little bit different. But at the end of the day, they're still 18 to 22-year-olds. And there's a couple of things I think are important is that as we compensate these young people, we have to continue to educate them on how to protect their finances, how to make sure they're making smart decisions with their money and, not just dumping money into their bank accounts and saying good luck. Like, I don't think that's helping our young people have a future of success. But the other thing is, at the end of the day, they still want to be great football players. Right? It's not about making money as much as it is about I want to be the best football player I can be. And the better football player I am, the more I might be compensated. And so they want to improve. And it's our job as coaches is to pour into them and do everything in our power to help them improve.
I remember I wanted to be a better football player and improve, and so that I would get noticed in magazines and stuff like that. And they're playing for money. But you know what, too, a lot of them, and not to make it all about money, but that really is the standard. That's the medium of, what you're trying to get is basically that, because the better player you are, the more money you're going to get. So, yeah, it used to be about like notoriety and, I want to make all conference and this and that, but just different now. So, and, the good news about it is that, we hear from John Schneider that it kind of weeds guys out early. Like, who are going to be the guys that are going to go to the wayside because of money? Mm-hmm. Who are the guys that are only there because of the money? Now you're able to kind of figure that out when they're in college, because it used to be we didn't have any money and you didn't know how somebody was going to react.
Yeah, I did like that, and you have brought that up a few times, and it makes a lot of sense because now you're not signing a first contract, essentially, and, we just dumped a ton of money, life-changing amounts of money into this player's bank account. What are they like? Well, if you're drafting a guy in a first round, they've already gotten paid. I mean, any first-round pick now has gotten significant NIL compensation. Right. So you're right, as John Schneider broke down for you, you do know motivation, what it's like because they've already gotten paid, what their priorities might be like now, but you already have that other kind of data point, and it's already there. It's not something new for an NFL team to experience. So it was fascinating there to hear Marcus Freeman on how that's evolved for him and his coaching philosophy.
Sweeping the dial.
So there was nothing happening sports-wise last night, and that's why they always have the ESPYs on the day after the All-Star game, and I kind of forgot it was on. I paid no attention to that. But then on social media, you see the best jokes kind of pop up. So Shane Gillis, who's an actor and a comedian, he was the MC for the ESPYs, and I appreciated this joke about Shedeur Sanders getting his jersey retired at Colorado.
Shedeur Sanders had his jersey number retired at Colorado this year, and people are saying it's because of nepotism, because of his father, and it's not. It's because he went 13-12 over his career, and he almost won the Alamo Bowl. Definitely not nepotism, right?
Yeah, that was good. Some of them we can't repeat that he had. Some of them fell flat, but I think that one hit the sweet spot of the absurdity of Shedeur Sanders having his jersey retired after 2 seasons at Colorado.
Yeah, and you know what? That's nothing personal. I mean, I'm sorry. That's going to get made fun of. It was so ridiculous when you heard that. And then, you know what? It always reminds me of that there's, it seems like every year and every generation or whatever, it's like, we're going to change things. We're going to, you know, we're definitely going to make that. We're going to make it better. We're going to do things differently. And like some things like that, I'm like, I'm sorry. It has to be, that's not going to catch on. Just because somebody has a really good season in college football, you're not going to start retiring jerseys right and left. But it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Any chance we can hear that again?
Yeah, we can hear that again.
I didn't know where he was going with that.
Okay.
Shedeur Sanders had his jersey number retired at Colorado this year, and people are saying it's because of nepotism, because of his father, and it's not. It's because he went 13-12 over his career, and he almost won the Alamo Bowl. Definitely not nepotism, right?
I like how he almost starts laughing. It's like when I read a good mean text about you and I can't get through it. That's Shane Gillis knew that joke was going to hit.
Yeah.
He almost cracked himself up in the middle of it. No, that's good. Yeah, so some interesting sweeping the dials there. Dave, we kind of broke down this Mariners team at the start of the show by grading how they did in team categories. You know, infield, outfield, pitching, relief pitching, all that. But now
overachieved, underachieved.
Yeah, how if they overachieved, underachieved. Now we want to really focus it in on projections for the second half. So you and Bob have done this once before. We're bringing it back. Bullish or bearish? We're going to go down some Mariners and give our input on whether to be optimistic or a little worried about how they'll do over the second part of the season. That's coming up next on Wyman and Bob on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
He called it 20 years ago.
I'm the home run derby champ.
And as he always does, the Big Dumper delivered.
The Big Dumper is your home run derby champion.
Congratulations, Cal Raleigh.
I just can't believe it won. It's unbelievable.
We can't wait for the second half of the season of Cal on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
What'd you say? I'm the man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
History, it had the gold rush. Then came the oil boom, the tech boom, but right now it's the Wi-Fi boom, and Xfinity Wi-Fi is booming. Xfinity has everything you need to tap into the Wi-Fi boom with seriously powerful and seriously reliable connection. It's got 99.99% network reliability and incredibly low lag, so your streams are smoother than making a decision on what to stream. And did I mention that you can even connect to hundreds of devices so you, your kids, your parents, your poker group, and whoever else is at home can all experience the Wi-Fi boom with Xfinity. And the Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed all in. Plus get unlimited data included and no annual contract, all with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Got neighbors? Big Trees can help. This is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. If you've been considering planting trees to add privacy, look no further than Big Trees. Privacy trees fill in empty spaces, help to define property lines, and add curb appeal. Learn more about Big Trees' big supply of privacy trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
The Big
biggest scuba sale in America starts next Thursday at Underwater Sports in North Seattle. Clearance prices on masks, regulators, computers, fins, tanks, BCs, free photo and video seminars, free fitting and incredible savings on a custom fit dry suit. Big savings on beginner, advanced, and specialty classes. Underwater Sports' 47th Annual Divers Fair starts next Thursday at the North Seattle Underwater Sports Store. Don't miss the biggest scuba sale in America.
It's the Graz here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inner Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com, that's PremierGolfCenters.com, and book your tee time today.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
The countdown is on.
Just 6 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners and Astros have announced their pitching probables for this weekend series. Begins tomorrow night with Luis Castillo and lefty Brandon Walter. Then on Saturday, it's Logan Evans against Lance McCullers, the right-hander for Houston. And on Sunday, the Mariners starter still to be announced. They will go up against the left-hander Framber Valdez. The Seahawks and Bucks have announced that both teams will wear their throwback uniforms on October 5th when Tampa comes to Lumen Field. Both are celebrating their 50th season in the NFL. And Rowdy Tellez, the former Mariner, had his contract selected from the Rangers AAA affiliate. He'll be on the big league club when Texas hosts the Tigers tomorrow.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman with you here on the final day until baseball comes back. You know how you and Bob would talk about what do we do on a night where there's no Mariners game? They have that off day.
Hate that.
Man, these last few nights
It
just
sucks.
been, what do you do? There's nothing on.
I know.
Literally no sports.
Well, and they had a 17 in a row, 17 days in a row they played, and then they went to the All-Star break, and now they're starting another streak of 17 in a row. So we won't have that much to complain about. Before we get to Bearish and Bullish, I know that Matt was a part of this early, and I thought it was the question of the day, but Rashee Rice was sentenced to 30 days of jail time. And so the question was on the Bump and Stacy show with Curtis Rogers, how would you, because he's on probation for 5 years, and at any point he can serve that. Now, I don't know if they can, like, divvy it up. Can I do a day here, a day there, a week there, whatever. But the question, Mike, that was posed is, how would you do it? Would you just go all 30 days, or are you going to go, like, maybe just a couple of weekends, a year, or, I mean, you can spread it out over 5 years, according to the article. How are you doing it? What kind of guy are you?
What was your answer, Matt? Because you've already weighed in on this, huh?
I wanted to do it all at once, like right away.
30 straight days of jail time.
Just get it out of the way.
Wow.
Because then, like, you would just have this sword hanging over your head for those 5 years of, like, crap, I've got to check back into jail in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be awful.
So you're getting it done. Here's the other thing that Matt said that was funny. You would find a way to get yourself thrown into solitary confinement.
Oh, first day. I truly, legitimately believe I could do solitary
Not around other people. No one will bother you.
I think I'd be fine with it. It'd be safer. It'd be more peaceful. So, yeah, I would just figure out a way to not extend my jail time, but get thrown in solitary confinement.
Matt would be the guy when they open the door after 30 days, be like, oh, up already, huh?
Yeah. That was easy.
Didn't feel like a month.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm with Bumpus. Bumpus's answer was that he would do like 15 and 15. Because here was
so much.
Here was his thinking on it. Like, he has smaller kids. His kids are grown up now. But, like, if you had kids like that were 2 or 3, if you do 30 days, they might forget about you. So,
yeah. I can't believe you two would be willing to do it in such big chunks. I mean, if you can do this for 5 years, I would go 1 day a week. It's only 30, right? 1 day a week. And then it's just one bad day. Like, you know, maybe you're dreading a day at work. This is like your bad day at work, or a day you have a lot of chores or a lot of appointments. Like, who likes a day when they go to the dentist? This is just, all right, you're going to the dentist 1 day a week, and you know that day is going to stink. But other than that, you cherish your 6 days the week, and at least then you wouldn't be dreading it coming up in a big chunk, and you would know, all right, Tuesday, it's going to be terrible. But I have 1 day, and then I move on. And it's just that 1 day is bad.
Okay. Well, let's get the texters involved, shall we? 866-979-3776.
Matt, you strongly disagree with that?
I just, like, that seems like it'd be difficult to plan around.
Well, you
like
know it's the same day of the week every time.
Yeah, but I mean, you couldn't go on any long vacations. Like,
you can't
just have a day of jail every week
for 30 weeks. That's it.
Nah, that sounds awful.
That you're having, I mean, you're not going on a lot of vacations during this busy sports time anyway. Like, we don't really go anywhere once football starts, all the way up through the start of baseball season.
Just the commute time alone, though. Imagine having to drive all the way up to Monroe every day. Or every
is that
week.
where you'd have to
That'd
go?
Be awful.
Well, the thing
really
is,
studied
they're
jails
saying that
around
it's
Seattle.
jail. Okay, they're saying it's jail, not prison. So it's not like, you know, you would be in with what you called it, the Gen Pop. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Gen Pop. Isn't that a jail term?
Yeah.
Or prison term?
I watched
What
Prison
are you, a
Break.
jailbird? Are you?
No, I've just watched television before.
Oh,
Prison
you watch
Break,
too
great
much
TV.
That's what they called it in Orange is the New Black, so that's what I know it for.
All right, we have gotten thoroughly disrupted from our topic here, which I was looking forward to. So we'll get into it now. Dave, you and Bob had some fun with this. That on the heels of Johnny Farmello telling me when we did an interview on a Mariners Clubhouse Insider that he really got into an interesting hobby while he was rehabbing his ACL, we decided we had to bring up a way to talk about these Mariners players. So we did our overreaction, underreaction, kind of talking about position groups. This now we're going to dive into individual players, and we're going to call it Bullish or Bearish based on this from Johnny Farmello.
Yeah, I've always been into the market. I got into it in high school, but I had the time in rehab, so I would wake up real early. I was rehabbing in Arizona, so West Coast time, markets opened at 6:30 a.m. I'm up at 6 looking at the pre-market, and then 6:30 comes around, and it's go time against the big boys in New York. It was a lot of fun, man. It definitely kept me going, and it was definitely the highlight of my rehab.
I've always said you have to look at the pre-market, Dave.
Yeah,
so you're not trading the stocks
absolutely.
well.
See what's going on. Yeah, what's the sentiment there? You're not going to do well against the big boys. They're going to toy with you. By the way, he's in rehab for his ACL injury. So yeah, he had a knee injury, but yeah, I mean it was kind of funny to hear that because I've worked at Merrill Lynch and there's people that know a lot more than most that are trading, and if you're trying to take on the big boys, it's kind of funny as long as he's not committing too much money. This is like his play money.
It was his passion, I think, while he was bored, and now he's back.
Just don't get too carried away with it.
But
so first on the list
is Julio.
Julio, look, based on the fact, and we've done this I don't know how many times I've gone to Pro Baseball Reference, and you can hit game logs. You go to 2023, 24. There is always going to be a 45 to 50 game streak where Julio just takes off, just heats up. And then on the other side of it, there's always going to be, something like kind of what we've seen. Now, that's up until the last road trip, because Julio, especially in Detroit, I mean, you're talking about 6 RBIs, 3 home runs, and, he had 2 doubles. And he only struck out 3 times in the 3 games during that series. So this looks to me, the other thing is I'm going to go with Rick Riz, because we talked to Rick Riz yesterday about because I thought originally that he should play in the All-Star game, that maybe it'll get him around those other guys and it'll clear his head a little bit. And then like Ryan Roland Smith, said, you're one of the dudes, man. You just came back from the All-Star game. Like it's cool. It can absolutely, turn your year around. So, but instead he decides to stay home, and Rick said it was a mature decision and that he needs to go and work on things. And I think Rick's right about that. So I'm definitely bullish on Julio. What do you think? Do you think that this is going to be one of those things you have to start getting back into form, and that was his little rally? Because he's hit like 6 doubles in the last 10 games. And so it's starting to get where he's hitting for power with those extra base hits.
Yeah, I do hate that the All-Star break came for Julio right after that stretch. For other people, you need it. Cal Raleigh, great. The All-Star break comes right there after you play, 92 of your first 94 games, or whatever they played. 96. He played in 94 of their first 96. So for some people, yes. For Julio, I thought that could be something that does carry over. Now you don't play for almost a week. It might take a little bit to get back going, but I am going to say, I am bullish on Julio because the Mariners will have to have him have a big season, or a big second half of the season here. If they're going to make the playoffs, if they're going to make noise in the postseason, then that Julio has to materialize, because they don't go anywhere without him. They have a good team with Cal Raleigh, and when you have contributions from all these other guys, it's a team that could beat anyone, but a team that will beat almost any other team is one where Julio is producing like he did in that Detroit series. Yeah. And then everyone else falls in behind him, where you get what you've gotten from Cal Raleigh and what we've seen out of Arozarena. So for the sake of the Mariners doing something in the playoffs, I am bullish on Julio, and hopefully that stretch continues. Now, it might not be right away. We hope it is, because the Mariners have gotten off to slow starts out of the All-Star break the past couple of years. But over the course of this final portion of the season, yes, I am bullish on Julio.
And reminder, I don't even know if we explained this, but bull market is up, bear market is down.
I know. I had to go do a refresher. I was like, oh, bear, that sounds interesting. Like a bear is a ferocious animal. Yeah. Maybe that's the good one. I was like, oh, no, bullish. Like that term, it makes more sense. So yes, bullish, good, bearish, bad. Continuing along that line, what about Logan Gilbert? Bullish or bearish about him?
I keep lamenting over his outing against the Yankees, and how I just thought he was going to just finish that game so well. And then the rain came down, and he ends up giving up 4 earned runs. But you see, he went 5 1/3 against Detroit, only gave up 2 runs, and none of them earned. And then he had a couple walks, struck out 9. I am definitely bullish on Logan Gilbert, and I think if that rain hadn't come on last Tuesday, I think he was gonna just cruise through that lineup in New York. So that was a bummer. But I think if you look at over the last few outings from him, he's starting to repair, and I think he's definitely bullish to me.
Yeah, the Detroit series and that start, very encouraging. The 2 runs unearned, so you have that. The only thing that worries me, and this might be more a result of that he still is just a few starts back. 6 starts since returning from a 2-month injury. So you're still kind of building it up. But what worries me is his length in games. He has not gone deep into a game since the very start of the season. So he had the 7 innings to start the season. Since then, he hasn't even gone 5 2/3. Yeah. And that is uncharacteristic for Logan Gilbert. But yes, with the recent track record of pre-rain delay in New York and then the start against the Tigers, I'm bullish on Logan Gilbert as well. I'm sure in due time we'll see him get back to that. I think it is interesting that, Aaron was kind of theorizing and we were kind of weighing in on why, at least for the first 2 games coming out of this break, it's neither Logan Gilbert nor George Kirby, and it sounds like maybe they just want some more rest for these guys. The Sunday starter's still TBA, so I guess it could be Gilbert, but as of now, not scheduled to start in the series. Get him some more rest, get him back to what we're expecting out of Logan Gilbert. So, all right, those are 2 maybe easy ones. This one gets a little more complicated as we get down the list here. A lot of position players. We'll see how many we can get to here. But, Dave, Ben Williamson, bullish or bearish on his second half of the season now?
Well, this is just a prediction. It's not based off of his numbers because, I don't think you can argue with him. He's the one thing, he falls into that category of he's on the corners and the infield. You want power there. That's just not really him. Like Aaron Goldsmith pointed out to us, he's lifted a couple of doubles and, he hits it hard and everything. But, he's got 1 home run, and I don't think that that's anything you should hold against him. But I'm going to say bearish just because he's coming off a streak here in that 3-game series against Detroit where he was actually 4 for 13. So, it's not like he only had a couple of strikeouts. But I think what's going to happen, and I'll say that he's bearish because of this, I think the Eugenio Suarez trade's going to go through. I think that's who they're going to get. And that's going to be it for Ben Williamson, right? Yeah. You send him down, and I was asking, somebody about that, like, what's that do to his career? And it's like, well, people get sent down all the time. I'm trying to remember who. I think maybe it was Ryan Roland Smith. But, what about his development? Because Bump brought it up. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good thing I never thought about. But I don't know. It could help him ultimately. But I'm just predicting that that's what's going to happen. It's not that Ben Williamson's played poorly. He is so much fun to watch defensively. But I have to say, I like watching a throw from Eugenio Suarez more than I like watching Ben Williamson play defense. So, yeah, I'm going to say bullish on that just because I think
Bearish.
Bearish. Yeah, I'm going to say that he is – I think he's probably going to get sent down at some point. I think they're going to do something at third base.
Yeah, and I would think I was bearish just for the sake of maybe pitchers being able to adapt, and now they have enough data on him to see and adjust there. Because you look at, on StatCast, you can really see the breakdown of how he does against every kind of pitch type, and he has struggled against breaking balls. So now if you get into the second half and pitchers see him in the lineup more, it's like, all right, heavy slider, heavy curve, so all of those are categorized in the breaking ball category. He has struggled with that. We've seen kind of the ups and downs, and as initially teams figured out how to attack him after he made his debut. So I thought along those lines, but then you're right. Now you've overwhelmingly convinced me that in the 2 weeks before the trade deadline, when a move that we think will happen gets done, whether it is Suarez or someone else at third, you're not going to see Ben Williamson anymore. So his future projection, not very good. So I'll go bearish as well on Williamson. How about the other rookie, though, who has played some significant time in the Mariners lineup since being called up at the end of May? Cole Young. Bullish or bearish on Cole Young?
I'll tell you what, man. I just look at him and go, that guy's just not a home run hitter. Well, in the last month, he's hit 2 home runs. But, I don't know. And who are you going to get back at second? It doesn't matter to most teams if those, shortstop and second base don't hit as long as somebody does. But, I'm also going to go bearish on Cole Young. I think part of it is that he looks so damn young. Every time I see him, I go, oh, my God, he looks like a high school player out there. But, yeah, it's nothing that he's done wrong. He got a hit actually, he's got like a 5-game hitting streak going right now. So, but man, you watch some of those 0 for 4 games, like against Kansas City, and he struck out, pretty heavily in that series. And I'm like, Yeah, I'm not so sure about him, but also I don't know what else you do at second base.
Yeah, and for that reason, I think I'm going to swing to Bullish. I'm glad we finally disagreed. It was no fun just agreeing the same way every single time. He has gone through his ups and downs after he had that kind of fun debut series against the Twins where, he got the one hit and then he drove in the game-winning run on a fielder's choice, went through a 4 or 5 game slump, stabilized now, as you mentioned, at the start of July, went through that. But this past week against the Yankees and the Tigers, gets his first 2 home runs. So you're starting to see the power come along. The hits have always been there. That's something that the Mariners really liked about him. That he's a great contact hitter all throughout the minors. So the strikeouts were never an issue. You want a guy like that to get on base. He's not going to be pushed at second because they believe in him. He's one of their top prospects. So there's no one else to really take away time from him. So because of the opposite of what we were talking about with Williamson, I'm bullish on Cole Young as the everyday second baseman and what he can do over that second half of the season. So, all right, 2 very differing paths for the rookies. Maybe not the worst thing because you're right. You don't really want 2 rookies to be playing every single day. That's a lot to ask for a team that should be contending and maybe even threatening for a deep playoff run. It's a lot to ask out of 2 rookies. So
I'll tell you what, though.
We'll disagree on that one.
Those 2 guys, though, I mean, you look at what Perry Hill has done with them, in the infield there, and they're number 5 or number 6 as far as least errors. So you don't see those guys make a lot of mistakes. So you're talking about rookies, and I love especially watching Ben Williamson play. But Randy Arozarena, the next one here, man. I mean, he's hot as can be, and you saw him figure prominent in down at the All-Star game, and yeah, I mean, I think he's coming around, and 17 home runs now, and this is, he's hitting for average 251, but really the important number is his OPS is 820. And 48 RBIs, 17 home runs. I like where he's at. He just seems like he's comfortable. He's coming back from the All-Star game. Confidence from that. I'm saying Randy Arozarena. I'm bullish on Randy.
Yeah, bullish as well because he's a veteran, and I think whatever he finally found over these past couple of weeks, that has been, Randy's MO, and that's going to be there. That's the consistency that people were hoping for when he got here at the trade deadline last year, and what was there in flashes at the start of the season and then kind of disappeared for a while. But yeah, the 9 home runs over the past 2+ weeks and 20 driven in, and the fact that now he has come back as this definitive threat behind Cal. So that's going to be the key for the Mariners going forward the second half of the season. We know Cal Raleigh's going to get pitched a lot more deliberately, and he's not going to see a lot of good hittable pitches, especially in certain situations. But if you have a guy in Arozarena behind him that you really can't afford to put Cal Raleigh on base, well, it helps out everyone. So again, kind of like with Julio, for the sake of where the Mariners hopefully project towards the end of the year, I am bullish on Arozarena.
Yeah, next one, Luke Raley. I'm nothing against Luke Raley. I think he's going to heat up. I think he's going to heat up late in the season. But right now, in the month of July, he's batting .212. So, yeah, I'm a little bit bearish on Luke Raley, and that doesn't mean I don't like him as a player because I think he's a stud. But, yeah, I just think it's going to take a while for him to heat up.
Yeah, Raley,
bearish.
You're right. I'll probably go bearish as well because he's barely been back. You don't really know how the Mariners are going to utilize him. We have still seen that pretty strict lefty-righty split. And so, like this series coming up against the Astros, all right, well, that's probably 2 games where Raley's not starting because there are 2 left-handed starters. So you'll see Donovan Solano, and if Raley's not going to get those everyday at-bats, all that time he missed, I'm not sure it projects well towards the second part of the season if he's still in that platoon situation. So
Dom Canzone, the next one, Mike. How do you not go bullish on Dom Canzone right now? I mean, his first game back, I guess that wasn't his first game back, but I just remember his first big moment was when he got the RBI or was it a 2-run RBI that he hit down in Arizona in his very first game, and he knew it. But right now, I mean, you look at it, the month of July, he's batting .406, but for his season, 319, 6 home runs, 10 RBIs, his OPS 904. I am bullish on Dom Canzone. I think he's figured it out.
So all of that would then lead you to perhaps think, well, could this continue? Like, is he going to still be that hot?
Yeah.
So
is this like a stock that's topped out?
Right.
You think?
There you go. I'm going to you for the Merrill Lynch expertise. So with Dom Canzone, you wonder, well, his past performance not really giving you much to say, okay, he can do this for this whole season. But you're right. Maybe going down there and having that stretch at AAA, able to work on some things, figure it out. It certainly looks like he's figured it out. It's been the right fielder that they've needed so far. The only concern I have is, again, with these lefty-righty matchups, will his bat get hot enough that he forces his way into the everyday lineup? Because still, he has been out at times against the lefty starters. I'm going to agree with you, though. I will go Bullish as well, just because what he's done and the consistency that he's brought. So I think that consistency stays the rest of the year. Now, we have 2 left. You were kind of hustling through these. Is there one specifically you wanted to get to?
JP.
Okay, we'll do JP Crawford and call it a wrap on Bullish and Bearish.
Yeah, 290 right now for the season. I mean, and I keep saying this sneakily. He's like sneakily, or I don't know. It's just unnoticed that he is batting 290. I mean, it's incredible, and he's got 7 home runs, and he's shown that. His OPS is up around 800, but you look at what he's done the month of July. He's batting 354 right now, his average. So he's a wizard out on defense, and I am absolutely bullish on him. But you know what, Mike? After we get done and look, like I've been bearish on 2 and bullish on all the rest, it makes it sound like they don't need to do anything at the trade deadline.
Oh no! Now you're worrying yourself again.
Yeah,
right?
That's where I'm like, like I told you, I talked to the guy on the golf course. He's like, I hope they don't think they have everything that they need. And so, but according to what we've talked about these players, maybe we're just bracing ourselves for what if they don't go get somebody at the deadline.
But I think maybe I'll kind of help ease your fear there. The ones you were bearish on are the 2 key positions they need to upgrade. Luke Raley, we're going to assume he's primarily first baseman, even though he's played in right, first and third. And we both were consensus bearish on third with the thought that it's going to be upgraded. So even with all that, okay, if we're bearish at those 2 positions, then perhaps they will still upgrade there, and we can feel a little bit better about feeling worried about those 2. And I guess here, to round it all off, yes, I will echo your bullish on JP Crawford. His on-base percentage, top 5 in baseball. He has such a keen knack for understanding how to work an at-bat up there, and that's what you want out of a leadoff man. There's no reason why that should dissipate over the second half of the season. So power-wise, he's probably not going to get to 19 like he did 2 years ago with home runs. You don't need that, though. You need him to come up in big situations like he has before, find a way on base, find a key base hit, maybe get a grand slam here or there like he's done this year. So bullish on JP Crawford as well. We'll do that a couple more times this year. Our bullish and bearish on the Mariners' second half of the season that begins tomorrow. Crazy to think about that. It begins tomorrow after we've had these couple days without baseball. But yes, the second part of the season begins tomorrow against the Astros. We'll be out there out at Edgar's. Bob will be back. Someone texted in, "Where's Bob? Did his motorcycle insurance run out or something?" I don't remember what he said there. I lost the text. But yeah, Bob's back tomorrow. We're all out at Edgar's for the start of that series against the Astros. But coming up next, training camp. Also right on the horizon for the Seahawks. We'll dive into our biggest question marks heading into training camp. Mike Lefko and Dave Wyman with you here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors. And when you hear Harley Exteriors, think windows. Manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest climate. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, and this is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. And they're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort, and they also come with a double lifetime fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass, breaking, or damaged seals, it's going to help your home's resale value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And in July, Harley Exteriors is offering 50% off basic installation, no payments, no interest for 12 months, and an additional $200 off your entire project. So think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more right here in the Puget Sound. Call 888 833 Harley. That's 833 HARLEY. Or you can just go to harleyexteriors.com.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
Bump here, letting you know West Hills Ford, the Big Ford store, is celebrating the Ford Summer Sales event with incredible offers, like the 2024 Ford F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive, available now through August 1st with $14,982 off MSRP for qualified buyers. West Hills Ford, the Big Ford store, just off the Auto Center Way exit, Highway 3, Bremerton, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it! Oh!
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, two-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Summer is the time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, or add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your very own hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. They are the team that addressed my hair loss, and I recommend them to everyone. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair's summer sales event is on for a limited time. So get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Check out the incredible before and afters and make the call now while their summer savings event is still on. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where Groundworks comes in. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
all these sports things happening, which is great, Dave, because this week has been pretty slow.
Happening.
Yeah, I was channeling Matt over there. The sports things, I think, as he would have referred to it.
When I produce, that's what I put on most segments.
Oh, really?
A sports thing happened.
There we go.
Discuss.
Yeah. My favorite part was coming back on Monday and looking, and so this is some behind the scenes inside radio. You know, we have a show sheet we put together. And so as I was looking at what was put on there on Friday and was clearing it out to start to put together the show on Monday, I got to the end, mean text segment. It said, get to this whenever you want. I don't care.
You know, it was the end of the week,
Yeah.
and I just had to be honest.
Yeah, you're right. So I was channeling
sports
that.
things.
Sports
Do
things.
whatever you want.
There are sports things that are happening. I mean, July is such a bad sports month. I don't have to go down my list of ranking the sports months, but I feel very passionately about that. And so July is very low on my
February,
list.
early March, pretty bad. But then you got March Madness coming up. You got the tournaments.
I mean, March is good. I'm going to put March in the top half.
I'm talking about like after the Super Bowl is over. Although you do get the stupid tomfoolery that goes on at the Pro Bowl, right? Is that after the Super Bowl?
No, they did it before now.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't even remember. And it's not even worth really, I like the competitions and everything. But then, until, I guess if you're an NBA fan, and college basketball is going pretty good. So, yeah, you're right. Probably about right now is one of the slower moments.
Yeah, there's literally nothing happening. So tomorrow, looking forward to baseball getting back. And then Wednesday, training camp gets you really fired up. Like, all right, football is back. The NFL, even though they are essentially a year-round sport, it just feels so long when the season ends.
Yeah.
We wait so long for a season, and then it ends, and it's that interminable wait. So the NFL gets going again. The Seahawks begin training camp on Wednesday. And as we kind of get started with this, Dave, and you guys will certainly break it down next week as well, but just at the outset, what are you looking for at training camp when the Seahawks take the field early on here?
I can't wait to watch the coaching. I really do, and just see how that happens, because what happens all the time is that they'll run a play, and then, if one of the offensive line coach or, Clint Kubiak or whatever, you see him having discussions and, walking out there and talking about exactly where they need to be, and on this side, put your head on this side, and, it's even, it comes down to like, it's a game of inches, and that everything matters. So, yeah, I that's the biggest storyline, I think, really, is the coaching. And, I think Sam Darnold is very important, but they need to make this scheme work. And, it was a pretty big bunch of moves that they've made. So, and we got pretty used to it watching the OTAs and everything and mini camp and all that. So, it's not like it's going to be totally foreign, but I just like to see it play out, and just like how far can they get, like we talked about, in that exactly 1 month period where when practice starts July 23rd to the last preseason game, which is August 23rd against the Green Bay Packers.
I hadn't really thought about it now, but I'm curious. I hadn't thought about it until now, but as you were mentioning that, I'm kind of curious about the receivers. And I didn't realize, it kind of got under the radar. I didn't realize this was going to be such a point of interest for me because, Cooper Kupp comes in and you kind of think you know what you expect. You certainly know what you expect out of JSN. But just to see Cooper Kupp in this offense, how he fits in, what version of Cooper Kupp you're getting, and then, who is that third receiver if really they are going to utilize one? Because Marcus Valdez-Scantling is someone they've brought in, but is he going to be a key part of this offense? Is it going to be more tight end based? We've heard they really want to utilize multiple tight ends. A.J. Barner had a great rookie year. You guys have talked about Elijah Arroyo when he gets onto the field, the impact he could have. So that whole receiving core, I'm fascinated to see how that plays out, because you had this big high-profile guy. Two of the biggest high-profile names on offense are no longer here. Yeah. And it's not like it's a no-name receiver group, but it's a brand new receiver group in a big sense.
Well, doesn't MVS seem to get like overlooked all the time?
Yeah.
I think I don't think there's any anybody has any illusions about what kind of a player, like, is he going to be an MVP? Is he going to have over 1,000 yards? That's not really who he is. But you look at some of his yards per catch in pretty recent seasons, and we're talking about 21. 16 and a half, 17 as far as yards per catch. I don't know. I feel like that's a guy that maybe is going to fly under the radar, and then, and maybe you don't see a whole bunch of it in camp, but by the time the season gets rolling around, I think he's going to be one of those guys. But you're right. I mean, it was pretty big. You go from DK and Tyler Lockett to MVS and Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. What about just a one-off player? Simple intrigue factor for any one individual player. Is there someone that stands out as this, to me, is the most intriguing player going into training camp?
Yeah, I'm tempted to say Anthony Bradford, but then it's a guard. And if I have to watch a guard play the entire time and evaluate, no. I mean,
even with a better body composition, Dave?
Yeah, he's got better body composition. So, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of torn between that. But then also, I mentioned as far as rookies go, Arroyo, the tight end. I think that'll be really interesting. But A.J. Barner, tight end, and we've talked a lot about, and I think tight ends are going to figure prominently in this offense. Lots of times they have 2 tight ends, sometimes 3 tight ends. And, yeah, and what do they do with Fant? What if these guys get really good and Noah Fant's got that big contract? What's going to happen there? But I'd say tight end position probably, either that or Anthony Bradford. I think Anthony Bradford fascinates me because he is one of those guys, and same story with Reek Woolen. Those two guys have the same story going. Mm-hmm. They both are physical and just are marvels as far as, like, you look at Reek Woolen, he's got the perfect build. He's got great speed, jumping ability, all that, but it's just the focus. And then the same thing with Bradford, and I just so many times last year watched him just entirely annihilate a defender. Just like, and it doesn't even look like he's trying. And yet he's also had problems with focus. I think both of those things can be taken care of with really good coaching, and I think that's what they got.
I'm going to go with Eamon Worry because he came into such high accolade where, all right, you're going to trade up, you're going to trade all the way up to 35 and select him. How do you utilize him? We know there's all this intrigue about what they're going to do with him. You have Devin Witherspoon, who plays kind of in that slot role. So you have 2 established safeties as well. Where is Eamon Worry going to be? How much of a role does he play? Yeah. And then for me now, when does he get out there? It doesn't sound like it'll be a long holdout, if any, because technically the rookies are there, but training camp hasn't started yet. So no rookie has technically held out yet for the Seahawks. Arroyo and Eamon Worry are unsigned, but if Eamon Worry does miss any time, does that impact what the Seahawks had initially planned for him? So there's a lot of intrigue around just simply getting him out on the field and then how he is utilized early on out there.
Yeah, let's not let that happen. That's what I think Mike McDonald is probably saying to John Schneider, or maybe the other
Joey
way
Lane, too.
And Joey Lane. High five. But yeah, I mean, that's a total inside joke, by the way. But yeah, I mean, I think you would think, I'll say it this way. I don't think that Mike McDonald instructs Schneider in any way, shape, or form, but I think John kind of proactively goes and, says, hey, what about this guy and what about that guy? And Mike gives his input like, yeah, we can't really afford to have him miss anything. And so maybe John gets something done in a different way or whatever. But you would think that for the rookies especially, you don't want to hold out.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll come back and find out what we learned up next here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
The clack of the cleats. The sounds of summer drifting off Lake Washington. Green 18. These sounds of summer are the prelude to the symphony of fall and winter. Football season is coming. Just 6 days until Seahawks training camp begins.
Seattle Sports training camp coverage is presented by The Landing in Renton.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Hey everybody, Bob Stelton here, and I think a lot of you out there are like me where you've been really active throughout your life and maybe you're paying the price right now. After 13 years of jiu-jitsu and sparring, I'm definitely paying that price with some severe hip damage, and maybe you've considered surgery or even joint replacement. Well, before you make that choice, let me make a real strong recommendation to go see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Now, I did it.
I can't tell you how much better I feel. I had heard so many patients rave about the results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. Dr. Wagner's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone-on-bone, are back to doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether you have a hip like I had, a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, do what I did and see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they helped me. They calmed me down. They made me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snare, that's short. Not a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Celebrate 40 years of The Bite. The Bite of Seattle returns to Seattle Center, July 25th to 27th. Over 300 food and retail vendors, plus games and live music. Admission is free. Enjoy a Seattle summer tradition at The Bite of Seattle with delectable multicultural cuisine, live entertainment, and fun for everyone. Enjoy a Friday night screening of Pixar's Ratatouille at the Mural. Taking over Seattle Center July 25th to 27th. Come to The Bite, biteofseattle.com.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Hey, golf fans, Jordan Babineau here. Get ready for an unforgettable weekend at the 2025 Boeing Classic. Come see Masters champions and Hall of Fame time golfers battle it out at the club at Snoqualmie Ridge, August 8th through the 10th. Bring the whole family and check out Seahawks Village, packed with fun for all ages. Plus, celebrate 20 years of the Boeing Classic, supporting the Benaroya Research Institute at Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. It's more than just golf. It's an experience you won't want to miss. August 8th through the 10th. Tickets start at just $20 and kids get in free. Visit BlowingClassic.com for more.
This is a house of learned doctors.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What did we learn today?
No one's a bigger idiot than me.
Stupidity is the easiest way out.
Yeah, Dave, usually I'm in charge of this segment. I put it together, so I know what's happening. I don't. We're flying blind here. We have no idea what we learned.
I don't trust
we
Matt.
learned anything. I know.
that.
Our fate is in Matt's hands here. So, Matt, what did we learn today?
Well, we learned that Aaron Goldsmith's memory is very untrustworthy. Aaron, do you want to tell the soft serve story?
All I remember is that I hadn't seen Nelson. Is that the first time I ever saw you in person? It wasn't, was it?
It was like the second or third time.
Yeah, Nelson went almost a decade without me knowing what he looked like, and I think we were all better for that. And then the second time that I saw him, he was coming out of the press box. I don't know how he got up there in the first place.
Yeah.
And he had probably 7 cups brimming with swirl soft serve. Like, it just couldn't have been a bigger greedy look of any child. And he rainbow sprinkles the whole thing. So he's a pro. We know that.
Let me point something out. It was 3 cups of soft serve because we were setting up the Edgar's broadcast on a 90-degree day. So I went up there to get it for me and the interns.
It sounded like a bit of an exaggeration in the very beginning because I'm like, okay, how do you logistically carry 7 ice creams?
So you eat 4 of them first. You put the empty cups underneath the other 3, and then you're good.
Yeah, I guess you could get 4 in one and 3 in the other.
You could easily,
I don't know.
you could easily carry like 5. You know, put them between your arms there.
Yeah.
What's more likely, this feat of ice cream engineering or that Aaron Goldsmith exaggerated the story?
Just a bit of an exaggeration there. I thought it was funny that he didn't want to participate in the annoyance talk at, being annoyed at the airport. He was like, didn't you guys used to have a segment for this? Or was he the one that said that? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was expecting him to go, yeah, it's the worst. People turn into idiots. And he didn't want to participate.
Maybe he is that guy.
Oh,
I mean, Dave might have unintentionally provoked something there. So
Yeah.
he swayed the topic elsewhere and he moved on.
Yeah, maybe he went, yeah, I'm one of those guys that stands right on the rail of the suitcase.
That's my theory now.
He didn't care about that, but the second he was given an opportunity to make me look like an idiot, he took it within a second.
Yeah. Well, that's done out of love,
shock.
Matt.
Yeah, done out of love.
Yeah.
Sure.
A decade plus of love, as he said. So, yeah. What else did we learn?
Well, speaking of ice cream, we learned that Lefko's priorities remain unchanged.
One more day, Dave, then everything returns to normal. We'll have baseball again. We'll all be out at Edgar's. There are rumors of ice cream nachos to be delivered, so
What?
I'm excited about that.
I haven't heard this.
Yeah, that's the rumor. It's happening.
Ice cream nachos.
Ice cream nachos. Get excited for that one, Matt. Get excited, all 4 of us who will be out there for the Mariners' special Spotlight Bite. Ice cream nachos tomorrow.
30 seconds into the show, and he's already going on about maybe getting ice cream tomorrow.
Hey, that's good promotion.
Food.
So that's how you promote something.
Yeah, that was good promotion.
Don't lie. You're excited about it, aren't you?
I mean, sure, but at the same time,
Yeah.
it's ice cream. I have some in my freezer.
No, ice
back in
cream
my apartment.
nachos. So they come with
I
a
was gonna
waffle
explain the ice cream
cone in
nachos
chip
now.
shape. And
What have I
then
done?
you walk down this road.
This is my
so
fault. I'm
I'm going to
sorry.
take us further down it. And then they come with some caramel sauce and some chocolate sauce and a big scoop of ice cream. So the waffle cone, they're like the nachos. You eat them like that, and that's the beauty of it.
Well, listen, I'll say this, that Matt, I think he reacts like a normal person would when you're like, oh, that sounds good. You turn into like a different person all of a sudden when food is mentioned. And then all of a sudden it's like there's lots of words in describing the food and this and that. And it's a whole different level of obsession.
If we're not in it for the food, then what are we doing here? I don't even know. I mean, you got to be motivated by something. So that'll keep driving me.
When you go to bed tonight, you'll have visions of nice ice cream nachos running through your head.
Probably.
Terrifying thought.
Yeah, well, we learned that.
But it's just like it's funny to watch Lefko's like whole demeanor changes. Like he gets really excited, and all of a sudden he's bouncing around and he's saying lots of words and everything. I'm like, yeah, that's a whole different deal with you, my man.
Is this where I should admit that I ran downstairs during one of the breaks to get our hot tamales and mini Junior Mints?
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Junior Mints, Dave.
Junior Mints.
Great snack.
Quick story? Should I tell the Bosworth story?
Would you prefer to make
How
fun
many
of us
we
more
got?
or a quick story?
Anytime we hear
Okay.
a Bosworth story, it's worth it.
All right, Brian Bosworth, he was my roommate. We were starting together on the road, and we were on roommates and everything, and you know, we're the two inside backers, and Bos could do anything, he could get anything, and I took advantage of it. So one time he's calling down to room service, he orders up a bunch of stuff, and he's like, "Hey Dave, you want anything?" I go, "Yeah, Junior Mints." They don't have Junior Mints, and you know, as far as room service goes or anything, but it was Bos, and so they're, "Oh, okay, thank you. You bet, Mr. Bosworth. I'll get some right away." And yeah, came up, brought me a big box of the big box of Junior Mints.
good.
So I don't know if somebody ran to a store or whatever, but like hanging out with Bos, you could get anything. And yeah, he was he was a big deal, man. Nobody even noticed me, which was perfect. I loved hanging out with him.
So you don't think if you would have called down, they would have had Junior Mints?
Yeah, they'd say, "Yeah, go across the street to the mini market there." But
Yeah, they're $3 across the street.
yeah,
There you go.
exactly. But yeah, they were like, "Oh yes, sir, Mr. Bosworth."
All right, Matt, what else did we learn today?
We learned that Dave has several rules about airport etiquette.
I just can't stand it when, you know, you're on the baggage carousel and people stand right up you go right up to the front to wait. It's like, no, you step back, leave a little room, and then when your bag comes, then you step up. You don't just stand there. Idiotic. The other thing is when the plane lands and the people that they're in row 20 and they're going to sprint up to where the 10th seat is, the 10th row, you know, it's like, why? You're cutting in line. Why would you do that? Yeah, there's lots of frustrations at the airport.
We
That
could
it
probably
drives me
spend
nuts.
30 minutes.
Yeah, but mostly it is, like you said, people just turn into morons. Yeah, kind of like on Fridays with our texters. They turn into morons. But no, yeah, don't you notice it? I mean, that's where people are the most unruly and just rude and idiotic, is at the airport.
It's because they think rules don't exist, normal rules of society. Once you get into the confines
Everything
of an airport,
changes.
everything changes.
Yeah.
You know, you see people in bars at 7 a.m. consuming all sorts of things. So then they just think no rules apply anywhere in the airport. And that's what they live their travel by. So it's unfortunate. But Dave, that was a perfect lead in to tomorrow. Mean texts. We need all the time we can get for our listeners to try to think of something smart and get going with mean texts. We'll throw out that number many times tomorrow. Mean texts coming your way at 5:45 tomorrow. But up next, we heard a little bit from Aaron Goldsmith. We will get into some actual baseball conversations with him, get his thoughts on the Mariners' first half, what he's looking forward to in that second half of the season, and much more. Coming up next here on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
He called it 20 years ago.
I'm the home run derby champ.
And as he always does, the Big Dumper delivered.
The Big Dumper is your home run derby champion.
Congratulations, Cal Raleigh.
I just can't believe it long. It's unbelievable.
We can't wait for the second half of the season of Cal on Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
What'd you say? What'd you say? I'm the man. I'm the man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything. But I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They're here 24/7. 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles.
The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Bum here letting you know the Ford Summer Sales event is happening now at West Hills Ford, where you can get the 2024 F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive at $14,982 off MSRP on approved credit. West Hills Ford, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through July 21st, new Comcast Business customers can find out how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how you get a $500 prepaid card for your business. Call and switch to Comcast Business today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Early termination fee applies.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at